going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy, Dr. Holiday. We back with another HBCU OverDrive live show. Make sure that you like the stream. Excuse me. Like the stream. Like the stream. Comment, share, most of all, subscribe to the channel. Become an OverDrive fan. Um, as all donations go back to the channel to make the channel better. But I'm glad everybody's coming in right now. I know a lot of people are watching some of the games. I know they're waiting for the last game. Um, can you hear me now, B-Rob? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I might need to go back to my old microphone. Can you hear me now? Make sure I hear everybody. Make sure everybody hear me. Can you hear me now? Trying to figure out something up with this microphone. I might have to go back to my old sound card. But all right. Can we Are we good over here? Good, we good, good. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. All right. Look, I'm just gonna go right ahead and jump right in. Uh, uh, so everybody's watching basketball right now, and everybody's making sure that they're watching their teams play. We got SWAC basketball action, MEAC basketball action. You also got Division II, NAIA, USCAA tournaments going on right now, and waiting for my see if anybody's gonna come up here to try to give their 2 cents. Oh, see if we can get Mr. Ford on here. But anyway, um, can y'all hear me? All right, that's good. Can y'all hear me? Anyway, all right, man. Look, having a good time right now watching uh tournament basketball right now. So we just gonna jump right on ahead and go into it. So uh since this is a new thing, we're gonna do it's called the HBCU Overdrive Tournament Roundup. So these it's going for day one and day two. Um, we'll be talking about all the games that were played earlier in the day. Um, and I think there's only two nightcap games for the MEAC and the SWAC tonight. So uh, I will be giving my analysis on those games uh, afterwards. But where I want to start off at, I want to start off with this, man. I want to start off with this. Texas Southern, number 8 Texas Southern men upsets the number 1 seed in the SWAC conference in the SWAC tournament, Alcorn State. Texas Southern with the dub against Alcorn State. If you did not watch this game last night, Alcorn pretty much was hanging in the first half. Second half, Texas Southern showed them who are the champions because they are champions of the conference. They've been champions of the conference before. And they were up by 15 at one point in this game. They were up by 15 at one point in this game last night. Now, Alcorn did what they're supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. They showed them how they can actually come back and from being down and basically try to make a game of it. But here's the kicker, y'all. Here's the kicker. The Tigers of Texas Southern kept pulling away. They kept trying to pull away. They kept trying to pull away all up until probably like four minutes left in the game. 4 minutes left in the game. What's up, Deputy Mario? What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Um, Alcorn cut the lead down to 4, probably with like 4 minutes left. Texas Southern, Alcorn couldn't do nothing but foul. They fouled, press, uh, pretty much did what they did what they supposed to do. It was just that TSU just came back. Um, it was good that they had their key guards that came um, that were out earlier this season or towards the middle of this season, and you seen them come back. Look, if you really think about it, Alcorn was basically Alcorn ran out of gas after probably like with 2 minutes left. There was no way that they was coming back uh after being down by 15. They just ran out of gas. Uh it was one of those things. Uh Me and Mr. Ford talked about this on Monday, and we said that Texas Southern can upset this Alcorn team. We said Texas Southern can upset this Alcorn team. Even though we both picked Alcorn to win this game, he had to remind me that TSU is a championship basketball team. They have a championship coach in Johnny Jones, and also those players that were missed towards in the middle of the season came back at the right time. Now, do I watched the game last Saturday when they played Prairie View. Prairie View had a lot of home cooking, y'all. Prairie View had a lot of home cooking, and basically they won that game at home. Even though Texas Southern came back and put up a fight in the second half, they were able to they lost to Prairie View at home. Now those guys came back and they know what's up. They knew what was up. They turned it up yesterday. Once you seen them go up 8, and then you seen them go up like 10 and by 12, and then it went up to about 15, that's when you figured out that that's when you figure out this Tiger basketball team for Texas Southern is ready for is ready for the spotlight. They don't call TSU a basketball school for nothing. so we just want to go with that right there. Also, with another upset on the women's side, y'all. I called this. I called this. Dawn Thornton and her squad, her Pine Bluff squad, upsets the number two team in the tournament in Alabama A&M Lady Bulldogs. At one point in time, the game was very close towards by the end of the third quarter. By the end of the third quarter, it was 40-39. 40-39. 40-39. And I just said just like this. Pine Bluff, those ladies deserve a hand because they went out there and did what they were supposed to do and turned it up in the fourth quarter. And as you see, they outscored A&M by 8 in the fourth quarter to seal the deal. I've called this game. I said this was going to be an upset. Um, Shout out to Dawn Thornton and those Lady Golden Lions from Pine Bluff. Also, other action today. The other action where this we're gonna go to yesterday. I'm gonna go to yesterday, and I don't have it up here, but Jackson State, uh, Jackson State goes up against Grambling, Grambling women, and when I tell y'all, this was a very very tough matchup for Coach Tamika Reed for her to get past this team. It was a very tough matchup. I promise you. I promise y'all. Grambling, wherever the head coach was for Grambling, was installing the hacker shack on Daphne White. And the reason why I say that is because Daphne is only a 42% free throw shooter. So I if I'm Grambling, I'm not about to hack her throughout the whole game. But if you're down by maybe 8 or 9 points and you're trying to slow the game down, then that's when you implement that strategy. When you implement that strategy, it basically puts her at the line and is either nut up or shut up. I mean that's all it is. That's all it is. It's either nut up or shut up. And the reason why I say that is because you have to hit the free throws. That's why they call them free throws. That's the reason why they call them free throws. You have to be able to hit those free throws. I know she hit a couple of them down the line. She hit a couple of them down the line, and basically, it kind of put the icing on the cake with the game. But in the semifinals, you have to be able to hit the free throws when the opportunity presents itself. Um, with the game tied up at 29 apiece and at halftime, and Coach Reed is trying to come up with some sort of adjustment to where she could get her girls going. Got to get them going. Then you start seeing Jariah Covington coming out and start shooting the lights out. Start shooting the lights out. Get to the free throw line, creating fouls. Uh, just becoming just being a playmaker just being a playmaker on the team. So you've seen all that right there. Angel Jackson, who had a down game, 3 points, but she also had 6 rebounds. She really wasn't in foul trouble, but she only played 22 minutes in this game yesterday. Daphne White with 18 and 10. She also was not in foul trouble, but the main reason why she only played 23 minutes is because she is a horrible free throw shooter. Not trying to down talk her, not trying to uh uh put anything, say anything wrong about her, but like I said, you have to be able to shoot the free throws. You have to be able to shoot the free throws, and you have to be able to make them. Her stat line was 7 of 13. So she got majority of everything in the paint. But she was 4 for 11 at the free throw line, 3 offensive rebounds, 7 defensive rebounds, equal out to 10, 1 steal, 1 block, and like I said, she ended up with 18 points. We only had 2 blocks this last game. Trying to figure out, we need to start swatting more. But like I said, give it up for Grambling for making the game ugly, making it murky and mucky to where they were able to stay in this game. But after, if you really think about it, after the third, and when the third quarter started, they couldn't buy a bucket. They could not buy a bucket. They started getting their legs started getting under them. They couldn't buy a bucket, y'all. So if you really think about it, Jackson State went on their run and basically sealed the deal down the line. Like I said, they did the Grambling employed the hack and shack theory, hack Daphne White, get her to the line, try to slow the game down, try to get the game within maybe 3 to 4 points. You got the game. If you get the game within 3 to 4 points, it's a game. It will be a game, and then you will see Jackson State clamp down. So now tomorrow. They are going up against Southern University. Southern just won their matchup against Prairie View in a blowout fashion, 64-37. 64-37. Prairie View girls were not prepared. They were not mentally prepared for this game. And you see it with the score. So now Southern gets to go up against Jackson State. That game will be tomorrow at 5:30. Pine Bluff will be playing Alabama State in the morning cap. That's at 11 a.m. All games are going to be on ESPN Plus. And if you have not check out She Loves D. She has been streaming the matchups on her channel. And she's been using Rob J as the catalyst for the play-by-play. Because I'm going to tell you just like this, with the SWAC tournament, I can't stand Tolly Carr calling the game. Oh, my God. I can't stand him calling the game. So those are your semifinal games for the women. Jackson State versus Southern. 5:30 p.m. ESPN Plus. Pine Bluff versus Alabama State, 11 a.m. ESPN Plus. That will be the first, like I said, the Pine Bluff Alabama State game will be the first game tomorrow. That's on the docket for all semifinal games. Now we're gonna go to the men's side, y'all. Jackson State plays their quarterfinal matchup with Prairie View. At one point in this game, Prairie View was up by 14. At one point in this game, Prairie View was up by 14. Oh, Jesus. I gotta laugh, y'all. The way Jackson State came out was super flat. Flat. When I'm saying flat like a white girl's ass. Flat like a white girl's ass. That's how flat they was. I'm saying that's how flat they were. It was pitiful. It was pitiful to watch that game in the first half. It was pitiful to watch that game in the first half. Really, it seemed like nobody really didn't want to win because they figured once you win that you got to go up against Grambling, who's the number 2 seed. Now, I don't know what Mo Williams said to this team. I don't even know because we saw video of Coach Reed going into the locker room with Coach Mo and the men's squad. I don't know what she told the men, the guys on their team. They came out and played. The thing about it, they chipped at this lead. They chipped at that 14-point lead, got it down to 4. When they got it down to 4, it was a game. They made it a game. And this is something that I watched the game on She Loves D on her channel. I watched this game. When they got down to 4, I kept saying, this is what I kept saying. Stop taking those unnecessary 3-point shots. Stop taking those unnecessary 3-point shots. You are not a 3-point shooting team. I just want everybody to understand. They're not a good 3-point shooting team. They're not a good 3-point shooting team. Get the ball to your best guards. Your best guards are Chase Young, Colty Adams, and Ken Evans Jr. Those are your best guards right there. Those are your best guards. But get the ball to Evans because he was having an off game. You really think about it. He had an off game in the first half. Second half, he turned it on. And my whole thing was get to the basket. If you get to the basket, they're going to have to foul you. You're strong enough to get to the basket. You're strong enough to convert, to try to get an and one, or to at least get 2 free throws out of the whole deal. You're strong enough to do that. Stop living at the 3-point line. And I'm saying this for Jackson State men because they run my damn blood pressure up all the damn time. They run it up all the time. I don't know what's up with it. Uh, they 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 kind of get to you, and it's like, look, look, dude, look, dude, get off the 3-point line. You're not a 3-point shooter. Let's get this understanding. You're not a 3-point shooter. Get off the line, get to the basket, convert the and one, or shoot 2 free throws. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything spectacular. You don't have to do. You don't have to do anything to try to get the crowd going. All you got to do is just play straight up. You just get to the basket. Um, Also, another thing when it came down to the defense, what they adjusted to was going from a half court press into somewhat of a zone / man defense when they got into the half court. They at one point, Prairie View, I'm gonna just say this: Prairie View did not score. They only scored either 2 or 4 points within a 7 to 8 minute span. Within a 7 to 8 minute span, they only scored between 2 to 4 points. And while they only scored 2 to 4 points, Jackson State was chipping away at the lead. They chipped away at the lead to make the game. They brought it down by 4. Next thing you know, you go around, you turn around, and you look at the score. They're tied. They tied the game. They tied the game at 44 apiece. Prairie View gets to the basket. They converted, I think it was 3-point play. So 47-44. Like I said, they chipped away. Jackson State chipped away at this lead. Now, this is where I get upset at Mo Williams. This is where I get upset at Mo Williams. If you got the lead, tell your team not to start shooting those idiotic 3-point shots where they ain't hitting the side of a damn barn. They not getting back into the floor of the game. Need to let them know, like, hey, we can't not. If we're not hitting from the 3, we need to get to the basket. We need to make sure we get to the basket, and we need to make sure that we convert on our free throws. That's the thing that irritates me. You don't do that, and then you get to the point where you make the game ugly. You make the game ugly. Both teams play ugly afterwards. After Jackson State got the lead, but I'm gonna tell you just this: JSU got the lead. We did not give that lead, right? We didn't give the lead back. We did not give that lead back. We kept the lead throughout the whole game until they tied the game up before we went into overtime. Then I'm looking at it like, why are y'all doing this? The out of bounds play baffled me. I was scratching my head trying to figure out what the hell they were doing. And also the decisions about the bench. Coach Mo only went 8 deep. He only went 8 deep. 5 starters, 3 off the bench. He shortened his rotation up like this is the NBA Finals. No, sir. This is just the SWAC tournament. This is the SWAC basketball tournament. But going to overtime, going back and forth, and thing I saw about with Prairie View, they got tired. They got tired running up and down the court with these guys. Now, I would give that to Jackson State. They are, I feel like they are well conditioned. They got running up and down the court with these guys. It was some that got tired, but like I said, if you're running an 8-man rotation, you got to be in shape. You have to be in shape. So once my whole thing is you tie the game, we get the ball, convert. Like we just just converting the free throws, just getting to the basket. That was the main thing that I felt like I was preaching. Cut down on the turnovers, get to the basket, rebound. If you miss a rebound, if you miss the layup, or if you miss the mid range jump shot, convert your free throws. Jackson State, as far as the team goes, they were 20 for 60 on the field, 4-13 from 3-point range. So the field goal, they were 33%. Also, they were 31% from 3-point range, and they were 72% from the free throw line. What's going on, Willie? What's going on? I know everybody's trying to watch. Like I said, everybody's watching the game. Everybody probably tuning into some other shows. It's Thursday night, man. Y'all already know. I'm not even tripping, y'all. I'm just bringing some good stuff for y'all about SWAC basketball action, y'all, and the MEAC. So I can't get my guys up in here that's in the MEAC. Now, I almost threw my phone at the damn TV, but I need my phone, so I'm just letting everybody know. That Kid Evans Jr. goes like leaks out, goes for the breakaway. All you have to do is you can do a one-hand dunk, or you can do a layup, make it a 4-point game, and call it a day. Nope. My guy goes in, try to go for the two-handed Isaiah Ryder or Harold Miner monkey dunk slam. The ball ricochets out of the basket. And probably had that. I think Prairie View, the time was probably like 2 minutes left on the game on the clock. And luckily for us, Prairie View tried to shoot the three so they could take the game. Rim bounces off the back of the rim. Game over. We move on to the next round to play Grambling. And as I say, Grambling come in. They did what they're supposed to do. They're the number 2 seed. And in reality, I feel like they should be the number 1 seed. The only reason why they was the number 1 seed because Alcorn beat them early in the year. But they came in. This is the first game of the day yesterday. Came in, won the game by 15, took care of Bethune-Cookman, sent them back down to Daytona, and they lived to see another day. So like I said, game tomorrow is Jackson State versus Grambling. That is the nightcap, y'all. That is the nightcap game. That game is at 8:30 p.m. More than likely, I will probably be streaming the game. I will stream the game, or I will jump on there with She Loves D and maybe do a simulcast of streaming the game. But that is the nightcap right there. And I'm gonna tell you just like this: the way that Jackson State played, today, you cannot go into this game tomorrow and play that way because you will get embarrassed. You will get embarrassed off. You will get embarrassed off the floor. So on the women's side, if you look at the bracket, like I said, women's side is Jackson State versus Southern. On the women's side, that game is at 5:30. The game is at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Go up against the Southern team. It's hard to beat a team 3 times now, y'all. The only loss that Jackson State has taken on the women's side is that loss to Prairie View. All right. Like I said, the first game at 11 o'clock, that is on the women's side, Pine Bluff versus Bama State. I'm going to tune into that game probably on my way to work and try to get some analysis off of that. On the men's side, you have, like I said, you have Texas Southern with the upset win against Alcorn. They will be playing the winner of tonight's game between number 4 Southern University and number 5 Alabama A&M. That game is at 2 o'clock, so that will be the second game on the deck. All games are at Bartow Arena in Birmingham. All games are streamed live on ESPN Plus. And then the nightcap game is at 8:30 p.m. Grambling State, who's the number 2 seed that's still in it, take on the scrappy Jackson State team. That's the number 3 seed, coached by Mo Williams. 8:30 tomorrow night. That is the nightcap game. That is the game of the night. Make sure that y'all tune in to that game. Like I said, all games are streamed on the ESPN Plus. If you don't want to watch it on ESPN Plus, you can watch it on She Loves D channel. Make sure that you subscribe to her channel. Also, make sure you come back to my channel. We do an analysis, and you subscribe to my channel too. Going into the MEAC, y'all. Going into the MEAC, tournament on the men's side, you're looking at basically it's a 14 race. It's a 14 race, y'all. And the reason why I say that it's Howard, who is the number 1 seed. Howard is the number 1 seed for the MEAC tournament. They go in, they destroy South Carolina State by 36, 91-55. 91-55. This team that is coached by Kenny Blakeney, who is a disciple from Duke University under Mike Krzyzewski. I think this team is to be reckoned with if they make it all the way to the NCAA tournament. If not, when they go to the NIT, they probably will wreck shop and eat a tournament. Also, yesterday's action again, North Carolina Central with a 30-point victory over Delaware State, 89-59. Today, earlier, if you watched this game earlier, Maryland Eastern Shore takes out Morgan State 80-64. I watched this game. I'm gonna tell you like this. I watched this game right here, and I watched it that Eastern Shore jumped out on Morgan 14-4 and never looked back. I don't even think Morgan even brought this game within probably like 5 or 6. Halftime score was 46-35. And basically, Eastern Shore outscored them in the second half by 5, 34-29. And like I said, they won the game, 80-64. Morgan State goes home. The Don't know. They probably would get a CBI tournament bid. Never know. You never know. You never know. Eastern Shore goes to the semifinals where they will play Howard. They will play Howard. That is at 5 o'clock at the Norfolk Scope Arena. That's a 5 o'clock tip off on ESPN Plus. It is color commentator is Charlie Neal, the OG. Right now, also right now, Norfolk State is down by 3 to Coppin State, 16-13. This is with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first half. Now I'm gonna say this: Coppin State wins this game against Norfolk. This might save Juan Dixon's job. This might save Juan Dixon's job, even though they got a pending lawsuit against them. We did a show about that earlier this year, and but it would, if he wins this game against Norfolk, he might be able to save his job and try to see what he can do to better help improve the basketball team. If they lose this game, I feel like he is going to be out as head coach. I am not the type of person that I want to fire the coach, but if you're not performing if you're not performing your duties to the best of your ability and what the school wants to do and what they stand for, then hey, I'm sorry. I have to go in another direction. I would have to go in another direction. But right now, they are up by 3. This game is that they're making this game very ugly. Very ugly as I tune in right now. So I'm just checking everything out on my phone. Like I said, if they win this, if Coppin State wins this game, this will probably save Juan Dixon's job for another day. For another day. So the winner of this game goes to play North Carolina Central. That would be a 7 o'clock tip off on ESPN Plus tomorrow night. On the women's side of the MEAC, on the women's side of the MEAC, I think all teams are going to the semifinals. Basically, yesterday's action, Norfolk State blows out South Carolina State 61-37. This is on the women's side. The upset, Maryland Eastern Shore women, Lady Hawks, take out Morgan State Lady Bears 49-46. Ugly game, but it was a fantastic finish. Then today's matchups, North Carolina Central defeats Coppin State 57-50, and Howard girls destroys Delaware State 67-35. So tomorrow's matchup is North Carolina Central versus Norfolk State. Woo. And Howard versus Maryland Eastern Shore. Norfolk State, who is coached by Coach Vickers. Very, very disciplined. These girls are very disciplined when they come to play on the floor. They pass the ball well. They rebound. They defend like it's no other. That is I would want to if it had to be me, I would want to see that matchup between them and Jackson State. You never know, but we might not get it. But they are marching on towards try to get to the finals. They play in the semifinals tomorrow. That is 11 o'clock tip off. Um, and the Howard game is a 1 o'clock tip off. So make sure y'all tune in to the ESPN Plus. Like I said, all games are going to be on ESPN Plus. Uh, uh, now we're about to go into. I want to go into some D2 schools and in NAIA. So let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see if I can pull this up. Uh, First of all, I want to say shout out to Coach Green. He comes on and he talks about he's a Southern fan, but he's the assistant head. He's the assistant coach over at Russ College for the women's basketball team there. He told me last night they went into Campbellsville, Kentucky. They lost the game, but I want to give my props. I want to give my flowers to it because they did have a great season for Russ College. Um, they had a great season for Russ College. That's a good thing. On the other end, and that was in the women's. On the other end, on the men's side, you have. Let's see. Let me see. Tougaloo College. Yeah, that little old school up in North Jackson, off county line. Tougaloo College, who came in as the number 6 seed, they go into the game. This was at the host was Loyola, Louisiana in New Orleans. They go into New Orleans. They play the number 11 seed Texas A&M, Texarkana Eagles. Beat them by 10, 75-65. That's game one right there. Game two. You see Sagu defeated Loyola 82-71. Sagu is Southwestern Assemblies of God University. That's in Waxahachie, Texas. In game three, Tougaloo takes out same Sagu team that took out Loyola 75-62. They go to Kansas City. And when you go to Kansas City, that means basically they're in the Sweet 16. Um, let's give it up for those guys because went through the the GCAC tournament and just blew everybody out. Blew everybody out. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a hand. Go ahead and give them a hand. And that's the NAIA. So I'm gonna go ahead to see what we got on D2 sets. So on the men's side, let's see. What up, Juwan? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, man? Jay Blue, what's up? What's up? I see everybody showing up now. I see everybody showing up. It's kind of quiet up in here, but say, um, so on the men's side of the Division II playoffs, and this is a weird way of how they told me how they do the seeding. So they start their tournament on Saturday. I think that is yeah. So they start their tournament Friday and Saturday. Um, like I said, on one end in one bracket, you got Winston-Salem, who's the number 8 seed. They're taking on Indiana, Pennsylvania. That game is at 4 o'clock Central. Also, you got Virginia Union taking on Fairmont State. Virginia Union is the 4 seed, and Fairmont State is the 5 seed. You also have, let me see. You also have Tuskegee men, who is the number 7 seed. They taking on the number 2 seed of West Alabama. And then you have the number 8 seed Miles College, who's taking on the number 1 seed Nova Southeastern. And I think that game is in Birmingham. No, Florida. It's in Florida. I'm sorry, in Florida. Let's see. You guys, I'm trying to figure out if there are more HBCUs in this tournament, but if not, I think those are the ones right there. So, like I said, those games are being played actually Friday and Saturday. So first round for D2 men's Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday. Um on the women's side, let's see on the women's side. Let me get up the bracket right here. On the women's side, Glenville State is taking on Elizabeth City State. Elizabeth City is the 8th seed. They're taking on the number 1 overall seed, Glenville State. West Virginia State, who's the number 5 seed in this region, taking on Shippensburg, who is the number 4 seed. Also, let me see. Try to figure out some more. So I'm going through. Going through. Let me see. And like I said, uh, number 8 seed Tuskegee Lady Tigers, Golden Tigers, who are taking on the overall number 1 seed University of Tampa. That game is at on Friday at 4 p.m. It is cool that we got these HBCUs being represented in the D2 and the NAIA uh, basketball tournaments. Make sure we keep an eye out on these programs right here. And that's pretty much going on as far as this tournament roundup. Uh, let's see. We got some other news. Other news in HBCU sports. Chad Ochocinco. I say Chad Ochocinco is FAMU forever. Reason why I say that is Tiffany Dawn Stikes, who's the AD for FAMU, named him, I think, what's the name for it? He's an ambassador and a consultant for FAMU athletics, mainly on the football side. Let me see, Jerica. Hey, Jerica. Rust did make it as far as the women, but they lost over the weekend. Um, they lost over the weekend in Campbellsville, so their season is over. But Tougaloo men's is still in it. They are going to Kansas City, so they are going to the Sweet 16. Also, let me give a shout out to Paul Quinn, who who made the USCAA the tournament, so they're going to try to repeat as the small college national champion. So shout out to Paul Quinn College out of Dallas, Texas. Uh, hope they get it done. Hope they get it, get it correct, get it done. But like I said, Chad Ochocinco is FAMU forever. It is a good thing to actually have Chad Johnson with FAMU because I'm gonna say it just like this. He has an ego. He is who he is, but he doesn't run his mouth like said coach that's in Siberia, America. So he is who he is, and he's genuine about representing HBCUs. Even though he went to Oregon State, he's genuine about representing HBCUs. Y'all do know that his daughter runs track over at Prairie View, so he's always going to be in the spotlight about what's going on with historically black colleges and universities. So I don't know if this makes FAMU it any better, but this is more of a symbiotic relationship with him with Ocho and FAMU athletics. So man, look, I'm gonna give my kudos. I'm gonna tip my hat, give my kudos to them for making that happen. And Tiffany Dawn Sykes, I would like to do an interview with you. If you are listening to this, or if you're watching this, I'd like to do an interview with you because I want to know what you're going to do as far as for the being a women's basketball team, and what can we do? What can you do to make basketball I want to say a top priority, but one of your main priorities when it comes to athletics. So I want to do that. also, look, this is a good thing that I heard. Hugh Jackson, Coach Hugh Jackson over at Grambling, he's wanting to see more minority coaches coming from the NFL. He wants to see more minority coaches coming in from the NFL to HBCUs. Hold on. He might get his son to go to FAM. It all depends. I have to see how he is. I got to see how good he is. If not, then he's gonna do what he do. But if he can get his son to go to FAM, Jawan, that would be a nice thing to have right there. Hugh Jackson, you know what I'm saying, one of the minority coaches to the HBCU pipeline. That is a good thing. I'm really keen on, I want to say keen on this subject, but it's a subject that we all could talk about. And if anybody wants to come up and put give me their 2 cents, I got the link in the I got the link to the stream in the chat, and we can kind of talk about this. But I'm gonna get my spill on this. My spill on this is that it helps HBCUs out, and not saying what I'm saying is we did one thing with said coach. He did come in and bring in 2 SWAC championships to Jackson State University. But like I said, the way that he left, it left a sour taste in our mouth. The way that he left, I don't care if he got to be with his mama. The way that he left, it left the sour taste in our mouth. But to get coaches like a Brian Flores, or you can get somebody that's up and coming, to make that, if they're not getting the calls for the NFL jobs, NFL like for the coordinator jobs, or even assistant coach or head coaching jobs, I feel like you can just come on down here, come on to the SWAC, come to the MEAC, come to these HBCUs and make us better, and make us better, and make us better. And you know, you don't have to worry about resources and stuff. It's one thing that we will talk about is the resources, but it's another thing if when we get a coach of if we get a coach of that caliber to come to our institutions and coach our kids up to prepare them for the next level, or just for life in general. Just for life in general. But I want to, congratulate Hugh Jackson for even saying this and putting this out there, because we do need more representation of NFL ex NFL players uh coaching coaching at the HBCU level. I would agree with that, KD. I would agree with that. He started a good thing. We had a good thing. Had a good thing, started it up, but too selfish, and we don't want to get into that again, because when we talk about it, it brings up it brings up old wounds. But this is a good thing that we can have right here. Hopefully to we like I said, we can get more coaches, but that means that if we do get more coaches to come down this way, that means somebody has to be let go. And you don't want that person to be let go, but if you ain't doing your job, then I'm going to go get the best person that's available for this job to get us over the hump and take us to the mountaintop. All right. But um let me check on the score right here. Let me check on the score. This is halftime score is in the MEAC on the men's side. Coppin State 24, Norfolk State 23. This is at halftime. Like I said, Coppin is going to make this game ugly. They're going to make this game ugly to the point where is you really want to turn the TV off. That's how ugly this game is going to be. And in the SWAC, I think the second game just tipped off. About to tip off now. Alabama's. Yep, it just tipped off. Uh, Southern. I'm gonna say it like this. Southern. I'm gonna say it like this. Southern loses this game. I'm more than likely Sean Woods might be out of there. Coach Sean Woods might be gone. A&M just scored 2-0, so it's 2-0. Stole the ball. They just stole the ball away from the Southern guard. But other than that, uh, that this game we'll probably talk about this game tomorrow. But I thank everybody. I thank everybody for coming on. I know it's like I said, it's late, and then pretty much everybody's watching basketball, or somebody there watching, other shows on YouTube. But hey, we're not gonna trip on that. Not gonna not gonna hate, not gonna trip. And give some shout outs. Give some shout outs to some people. Shout outs to some people in schools. Um, First of all, I want to shout out. I want to say a happy Founders Day to North Carolina A&T State University. the guys over there in East Greensboro. Um, is y'all Founders Day, 130, 137 years, 125 years, something like that. I gotta look at the year you was founded. But it's your Founders Day. Congratulations. Talk about one of the largest HBCUs in the nation. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Give you kudos to you, man. Um, y'all keep striving and keep educating and keep going forward. Uh, second, second of all, I want to give a big shout out to Coach Fred, who's the wide receivers coach over at Alcorn, and Jessamine, who is a grad student at Jackson State, but she's also a HBCU grad from Prairie View. They had a Twitter space yesterday, and was it yesterday? No, it was a Tuesday, and basically asking questions, trying to with Coach TC Taylor, and basically asking questions and got to ask my question to Coach Taylor about the quarterback situation, who's leading in the quarterback. If you able to pick one up, right, pick QB, starting QB right now. Uh, I don't play no games. I was just I wanted to see here, get answer. Ain't no softball question. Yeah, I just go straight forward. But shout out to them for getting that space. It was like a 45-minute discussion. But shout out to for them to have Coach TC Taylor of Jackson State on the show on that space. On the space on Tuesday night. And yeah, man, they keep going. Y'all keep going and keep grinding. Um Also give a shout out to the lovely Mrs. She is she is she is going for a new position, a new job with her company, and her last day with her old job was Tuesday. Her last day with her old job Tuesday. So she gets on to her new job on Monday. She comes on Monday, either Monday or Tuesday. Also give us prayers for our for her oldest daughter, my stepdaughter. She is has I wouldn't say fallen ill, but she is under she is under duress, and we just all need prayer, and you know just need prayer. So the missus is flying out tomorrow to go check on her daughter. So she's been in the hospital for like the last couple of days, and you know she's a mother, and she just want to make sure that her daughter is okay, is going to be fine. Um, so um, y'all wish her safe travels as she goes back to her home state, hometown, LA. She'll be out there for a couple of days, and we just ask for prayers for our daughter. We just ask for prayers for our daughter so she can get better. That's pretty much all we have right there. Um, and pretty much that's it on the announcements, man. That's on the shout outs and the announcements. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I thought I was gonna be gone. But Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Uh,
How about now?
Your sound is down.
My sound. Okay, hold on. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Your audio is down, Mr. Ford. I'm trying to let you know. I can't
O-
hear you.
Okay. Let me see. I'm on this phone here. This thing will get ragged on me. Let me see. How about now? Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Come
Uh,
back in. Come back in, Mr. Ford, and
uh,
I'm gonna send you that and come back in
okay,
and
I'll come back in. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna send them again. I thought we were gonna be done, but we're not done. I'm trying to figure out why I'm here. Oh, we got the former mayor, Mayor Yarber. What's going on? How you doing? Trying to figure out why I'm not hearing them. Okay, fine. Hopefully he'll come back in. Hopefully he'll come back in because I want to talk to him about some things. Oh man, peace of love to you, Mr. Yarber. I done made it in. I got the former mayor Jackson on my feed. Let me see. All right. Mr. Ford, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
See if the people in the chat can they hear me? Okay, they say they can hear me. Doc, can you hear me?
All right. Hold on, Mr. Ford. Let me see something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Somebody said they can hear me. Yeah, Juwan said they can hear me. Okay.
Hold on, y'all. Let me. Oh my goodness! I'm switching. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Can everybody hear me now? Let me see if I get Mr. Ford up here. Mr. Ford, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you well. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Okay. Now
Yeah, I hear you well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, man. Now we good. We back in business now.
yeah, yeah.
So what you think about? What do you think about day one and day two of both tournaments?
Okay, well, I want to say first of all, thank you for Miss Timona. I've been coming in every day, and I see that She Loves Thee, and then I watched that. The first day, I was shocked. I went to She Loves Thee, and the score was 33-33 between Grambling and Jackson State. That was girls. And I said, I can't believe it. I thought sure that Jackson would be blowing them out by 20, 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I had to watch it. And I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Girls basketball is pretty good in the SWAC, man.
Yep.
Girls basketball is good. That guy's Jack. I mean, we know it's a given that Jackson State is probably the premier girls program. But kudos to the guy at Grambling. They played hard. They went after Jackson. Their record did not scare them.
Right.
I came in today, and once again I went to She Loves Thee, and it was Jackson and Prairie View, and looked like Jackson didn't want to listen. Did you see the guy miss the dunk at the end of the game?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I told you I almost threw my phone at the TV because
I'm serious.
Oh, I got a guy that's at the game right now. Uncle Sid. I'm about to send you the link so you can tell me what your experience at the tournament right now.
Now, who's playing right now?
Southern and Alabama A&M.
Oh, Southern got to win that.
Yeah.
Southern got to win that.
Southern has to win it, and we've already talked about this yesterday on Twitter. Southern don't win this. This would probably be the last time you will see Sean Woods coach a game over it.
And I hate that. I like him. I like Sean. I like Sean.
But he has to get it done.
Yeah, he got to get it done because I've been hearing him too. I listened to Carlos Brown's show, and this whole thing about he got to get to the championship, and if he don't, according to them, this is what's coming from the AD. That he's got to get to the championship.
The championship. Because I think he's been there for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I hate to say it. A lot of times, what they say, the grass isn't green on the other side. Yeah. I think Sean's going to, if I was them, I'd take my time with Sean. I just think, you done talked about this. I just think he doesn't have any big people.
Right.
He's got a perimeter, but those donut teams, they wear out as the season goes. And speaking of these teams, can somebody tell me what's wrong with the Tar Heel? What's wrong with North Carolina? All them McDonald's All-Americans, and they dragging, and You know, they just got beat. That's why I'm just getting on the show. I watched them in Virginia,
Oh, okay.
and they just got beat. But I still think they'll make the tournament.
Like I said, what's going on, man?
Hey, y'all doing all right? Hey, Mr. Ford, you been doing all right?
Yeah, how you doing?
Man, I'm all right, man. Made it back to my hotel, and look, you right. I was being quiet when you were just saying that because I'm a sneaky North Carolina fan. I never left
Yeah.
after Jordan. Now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
never left. That was my first introduction, yes sir, to North Carolina basketball. Watching him because
Right.
I ain't
Oh,
never
yeah.
seen because they had Worthy and Sam Perkins them
That's right. Jimmy
back
Black
then.
and one
Uh-huh.
guy was named Doherty. Was it not
Yeah,
Brad
Brad.
Doherty?
Brad Doherty. Yeah, Todd
My
Doherty.
Matt Doherty.
Yep.
Matt Doherty. That's right.
Matt
Matt
Doherty.
Doherty.
Matt Doherty.
Matt
Matt Doherty.
Doherty.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because Jordan, you know, campaigned up there in North Carolina for him to get that head coaching job, and he was a disaster.
Yes, sir. He was,
He was a
and like you
disaster.
said, he right now, Hubert. I mean, it's gonna be probably an uphill battle, Mr. Ford, because
Yeah.
the only thing that I see with that is that this year North Carolina was preseason ranked #1. Remember
Yeah.
when they did the
Oh yeah.
preseason rank?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they was like,
Yeah.
because of all the talent that was returning, there was a unanimous
Yeah.
preseason #1.
Without a
And
doubt.
so now
Yeah.
to go to this, I don't know, I was talking to one of my partners though, and I'm thinking that they're gonna give him probably one more year after this. But if he does what he did this year, next year, oh, he
Right.
out of there. Yes,
You
sir.
know, now I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you this. You know, I've been around teams for years and years. Now,
Yes,
I
sir.
really don't think it's his fault, but one thing I can tell on that team, either them agents are involved, either them agents is in the heads of them boys, or them boys don't like each other. Because it's some things I'm seeing on the floor. It's a sluggishness that I'm seeing, and what it points to is locker room problems. It's locker room problems. Like I tell you, I've been around a lot of teams, and like you said, they are gonna blame Hubert, but I'm seeing personnel problems. I don't know if them guys like each other.
I think I'm gonna tell you who's the probably the most disappointing guy on that team to me is two of them.
Baycode got to be one.
I'm gonna say Nance is one of them.
Okay.
Nance is one, and number two is, man, I just don't understand why they have not worked with what's old boy from St. Louis.
That's a major problem with that kid from St. Louis. That boy's name is Love.
Yeah, Caleb Love. Yeah,
Oh
Caleb
yeah,
Love. I don't
that
know
boy's
why
a
they ain't
big
got no
major.
shooting coach for him, Mr. Ford. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Because
I
let me
don't
tell you,
know.
after the Kansas game, I felt that kid was ready for the NBA. I did.
I thought so too, but
I
see,
thought he's ready for the league.
he's transitioning to one of my homeboys' son. So I knew a guy named Horatio Webster because we played
Okay.
in high school together, and his son was Malik Newman.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
and yes, sir. And so after he showed out with Kansas in that one game,
Right.
then he declared. But if Malik would have come back to Kansas the next year, he probably would have been player of the year, and he wouldn't have to worry about bouncing around like that. And I'm
Right.
really, really seeing Caleb Love. If he try to declare this year, he's going to end up being like that.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? With the
Mhm.
season they've had, he needs to come back.
I'm gonna say this. Somebody said that it needs to be a regime change for the Tar Heels because you got to realize, man. Look, Dean Smith. When the last time Dean Smith had coached the game? Back in what 2000? It was like 2000, and God rest his soul. He passed away.
Right.
But a lot of people didn't like Roy Williams, Doc. But Roy Williams did
Roy Williams,
win
bro.
multiple championships. He
Yeah,
brought
he won
about
two,
three
right?
championships.
Yeah,
He
that's
won
right.
3.
Yeah. Well, see, Roy's the one that put Hubert Davis in. See, that's one of their boys. Roy was behind that.
Right, and see, he retired last year and just
Yeah.
basically gave it to him.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying. He put him in there.
Yes, sir.
That's the thing, though, is the fact that because he retired and you just placed him in just to be, you know what I'm saying, to be your replacement.
Uh-huh.
No, we don't know. I mean, in a sense, you don't know how this man gonna be able to coach. You don't know what his philosophy is. And if he going back to the philosophy when he played back in the late 80s and 90s, then
Uh-huh.
not gonna be able to reach those kids like that. Those kids don't too much care about, like, in a sense like that.
And you're right. I thought that being that he was on staff these last 7, 8 years,
Yeah,
because Roy Williams brought him back.
yeah,
I
he did.
just thought,
Yeah.
I just really thought in my mind, I was like, well, it probably won't be too much of a drop off because they used to the system, but it's just like it just seems like they not buying in because even last year when they went on that run last year and made it to the championship game, when they got in the championship game, it was just like they were flat, and he didn't
Well,
make no adjustments.
and I'm gonna say this too now. Doc and I have been talking about in the SWAC about bad guard play. North Carolina's had that problem too. That guard play has not been excellent now.
But I like
They've had
RJ. I
problems.
like Davis though, because Davis really tried. He does his part, but
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
Caleb just
yeah.
jacking up 20 shots and ain't making but 3 or 4. That just ain't gonna cut it.
No, it's not. Not in this day and time. Like Doc was saying, one thing you got to have if you're going to play big time college basketball, you got to have excellent guard play.
Yep.
Because you know what I mean. It's 3 on the perimeter, 2 on the inside. So everybody's looking at that 3 game. And
True.
I saw bad guard play with North Carolina this year. But I still say I saw a sluggishness. Like I said, either them agents done infiltrated that program or them boys don't like each other. Because I see a lot of people don't know. I've been around talented teams and they don't have no chemistry, Doc, and I've seen problems. Yeah. I've seen some problems when kids on the team and they don't like each other. I've seen some problems.
Yeah, man. But start off, I guess I'll give y'all the commentary today, man. That was a game of the century, man. That was a game of the century. And shouts out to my former mayor out there. I gave him a shout out, old Tony Yarber. Man, like I said, man, we appreciate you for what you did, man, while you were there, man. And we appreciate your love for Jack. And but man, we was there, man. It was electric, man, because I'm look here, Mr. Ford. I'm sitting at the game on the chat with Sheila. I'm at the game on the chat.
Okay. Well, that's what kept me involved.
And so I'm sitting over there behind the bench. I'm telling people in the chat they can recognize me. They go like, we see it. I was like, man. So we back there yelling, and one of the players' mom, Evans, I knew his mom. And so I had texted her while I was at the game. I said, man, your boy ain't playing with, and she was like, put him on the phone. And so I couldn't put him on the phone, but when they had taken the time out, after halftime, I said, young man, I got your mama on the phone. I said, do we need, and he got fired up then. He got fired up, but they were very resilient today. Right. They ran into a real focused Prairie View team, and that number 4 for Prairie View, I don't know what his name is, but he is NBA ready. He is.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, he was getting in the business.
Yes, Lord, Mr. Ford, he is NBA. I don't see him. No, I'm gonna say this. Well, they'll probably try to, you know how they do. They say all the SWAC and all this stuff, but I can see him. If he goes undrafted, I can see him getting on a G League team.
Right. And
after about 2 years after that, he'll be in the NBA. He's just that good.
Well, let me ask you now, where is he from? I got to know the location. Where's he from?
He's from Memphis. He's 6'5", about 195, 200 pounds, guard.
What was his high school?
And can jump out.
I don't even know what his high school was.
Because Memphis turns them out now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's so much talent, and it's so much talent in my city, man. You have Whitehaven,
East, that's
you got East, you got Central, you got Hamilton,
Right.
You got White Station.
That's right.
You
White
got
Station. Yeah.
and then you have Southwind. That's over there in East.
Right.
They produced Southwind produced that fella that plays at LSU now, the point guard,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he's probably gonna get a shot because he play. And then also who else up there in Memphis? Germantown too.
Right.
Germantown as well.
Now, do you go back as
Germantown.
far as Gene Bartow and Larry Finch and Dana Kirk and that
Oh
crew?
yes, sir. Yeah. I moved to Memphis in 2012, but
Okay.
I'm a sports historian, so yes,
Okay.
sir. I
Okay.
definitely know. I
Yeah.
mean, Larry Finch. I mean, them. Well, that was back then with Memphis State, but
Right.
man,
That's right.
those teams, man, they could beat anybody.
Yeah.
They
Dana
could beat
Kirk. You
anybody.
remember them
And if
teams Dana Kirk had?
Penny would have had one
Yeah.
more player, if Penny
Yeah.
would have had one more player, he'd have won multiple national championships. But he had to do everything by himself.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because Memphis, like I said, Memphis is a. I tell you, another city. I used to think gave Memphis a run was Louisville. Now Louisville kind of fell off, but remember the Denny Crum days with all them kids out of Louisville?
Yeah.
Man, I remember recent when they had Terry Rozier and Spider Mitchell.
That's right. Yeah, I remember the Rozier kids.
That was a bad team. That was a bad. They had nothing but two of them. Him and he and Terry Rozier, but you couldn't stop him.
Yeah, you know the Louisville people. They kind of blame the guy that's up at Iona, Rick Pitino. They say that he cut the Louisville connection and went after nothing but the New York kids because he liked New York kids.
Yes, sir. But see, also he was taking, he had that deal and he was taking 25% off the top with that shoe deal too.
Yep.
And remember, he had got the program caught up with that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The word is, they're trying to get him in the SEC. They're trying to get Rick Pitino back in the Power 5.
He needs to stay where he at Iona.
Yeah, he's at Iona. But the word is they try because he's old now. I think we said the other night, Doc, what's his age?
Like in his mid-70s.
Yeah, he's like, and by the way, his boy just got cut this week. The guy for Syracuse had to give it up because he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, Jim Boeheim.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave.
To me, I think he to me with Boeheim, he stuck around far too long.
Yes, he did.
He should have left probably like 3 or 4 years ago. When you start like him being at Syracuse since the 70s.
Right. Because I remember him when I was in high school.
Yeah, since the 70s.
Yeah.
And you play a certain type of way. You only run one type of defense, which is the 2-3 zone.
That's it. It's long overdue.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
They just gave it. They gave it to Adrian Autry, though. They've given it to Adrian Autry. He played there.
It was they fired Patrick today. I knew it was coming. They fired Patrick today.
This is what I ain't gonna laugh at it, but I listened to his post game presser. He was like, Georgetown means so much to him. Hopefully they'll have me back next season. You got fired.
Yeah, I knew that was going. When I saw him have to go get Kevin Nickelberry and them wasn't good. Nickelberry was at Howard. He was at Hampton. I knew then he had problems. If you're going to get Nickelberry and them to save your job, I knew he's going to have problems.
Well, word is they got my homeboy finna take over the program. They saying next year, Othello Harrington.
Yeah, I know Othello. Played for Big John.
Yeah, he played for Big John. He played at Murrah High School.
That's right. He's from Jackson. Yeah, I remember Othello. Oh yeah. And see, one thing about Georgetown in North Carolina, those programs were like fraternities. They don't like outsiders. They want people that were in the family because that's a lot of the part with Hubert Davis. He was in the family. Patrick Ewing, no coaching experience really as a head coach, but he was in the family. And, probably the biggest player in Georgetown history was Patrick Ewing, but no head coaching experience.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a blue blood type of program. So
yes, it is.
and that's and even when you're in places like the SWAC, you have the Grambling, the Jackson State, the
Yeah,
Southern, the
right.
FAMU. Those are blue blood programs.
Without a doubt.
So they ain't gonna sit back and just lose too long like that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just not gonna happen,
Yeah,
and that's what kind of kills me when everybody be firing off and having their little slick stuff to say about Jackson State to myself. Well, they was for I said, man, Jackson State, ever since I was a little boy going to the
yeah,
game with my deceased dad.
yeah.
That
Without a doubt.
those are blue blood
Yes, it
programs,
is.
man.
That's right. Yeah,
It's an honor to get those type of jobs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, one thing about Jackson, Southern, Grambling, and Florida A&M, they have a fan that knows the game, especially football. And the other thing about them is they're very impatient people. They're very,
Oh yeah.
you can't come to Jackson, Southern, FAM, and Grambling and learn how to coach. Your resume has to say that you are a champion. Because if it doesn't say that, you're not going to last. You're not going to last. Because
Oh yeah,
the fans are too impatient.
3 years, no more than 3 years,
That's
you out
right.
the door.
You out the door.
Right now, Southern is down by 11
Oh,
with 6 minutes left in the first half. It's 23-12, Alabama A&M.
ah.
So they have to pick it up in the second half.
Well, that's what Jackson did, right? Because Jackson went way down, didn't they?
We were down.
Man, we were down 20.
20.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were down 20, but like I was chatting with everybody, and I was trying to give them little live updates from the game, and but I did see Tamika Reed follow them in that tunnel, and at I don't know what was said, but them boys came out the second half, and it was lights out.
But you think about this though. Think about this. They came out in the second half. What the score was 23-16 in at halftime, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out in the second half. So Prairie View Prairie View went on a whole run. They went on a whole run in the second half, and probably with probably 10 minutes in the game in the second half.
Right.
Prairie View.
JSU went on a 24-2 run at that point.
Right. They went on a 24-2 run, tied the game up, and then they had the game. They did not relinquish that lead. They didn't relinquish the lead all the way up until a little bit into overtime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When they got to overtime, they was down by, I think they was down by 2, then they was down by 1, and then you seen them come back. Now, like I said, and y'all could attest to this. They don't need to shoot now 3-pointer.
Jackson?
They don't need to shoot now 3-pointer.
All they had to do was when they got the game plan and start going into big boy Manziel, that's when it was lights out. Cause can't nobody cover. Because he's so long and athletic.
What's his
so long and athletic.
Is he a 7-footer?
He's like 6.
They got him listed at 6'10", but
he's from where? Where's he from?
He's from out west.
California?
God. Yeah. I want to say out Alaska.
Oh, he's from Alaska.
I believe
Man,
so.
I know he love it. If he's from Alaska, I know he loving Jackson.
Oh yeah, that boy can get out. But see, the thing with him though,
he's from LA. Okay.
LA. Well, I knew he was from the West Coast. I knew he was somewhere.
What's his high school in LA?
I wouldn't even know. It's so many high schools in LA. Sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but he was a factor. And then, like I said, Adam, he stepped his game up. The second half, and he realized that they really couldn't. If he could take it to the hole, they couldn't stop him. Because his shot was off. And man, we were yelling, man, take the ball in. They can't stop you, dude. They can't stop you.
I kept saying, I kept saying this, and this is what I said when they played the last game when they played Valley. Get to the basket. All you gotta do is just get to the basket. What's going on, Edwin? Get to the basket.
Cause Adams'
talent.
body, cause I yelled him. I said, "Man, do you play football or basketball? Which one?" And he started looking. But if you look at his body, the boy about 6'5", about 220 pounds, and I'm like, man, they can't guard you.
Right.
At that size, and you are in college. You're not even, you're not in a Power 5, but you 6'5", 220 pounds in a SWAC at a SWAC school. You're supposed to be dominating.
Yeah. Now listen,
So,
did Mo go and get him, or is that the previous coach who brought the kid from California?
that was Mo there. That was Mo.
That was Mo. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's
yes,
good.
sir.
I like that.
That was Mo there.
I want Mo to continue to do national recruiting. We talked about this, Doc. Listen, with Jackson State being as hot as it is, Mo should be in Texas. He should be in California. He should be in Detroit, Chicago, New York, Philly. Hey, Jackson State is an international brand right now. He needs to take advantage.
Right.
Well, the new offensive coordinator for the football team kind of put a bug in Mo ear, and Penny did too. That
okay.
there's some talent up here in Memphis.
Right.
So, up there in Memphis. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You remember now Todd Mayberry, wasn't he from Memphis?
Yeah, Todd Mayberry was from Memphis.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you had Todd Mayberry, you had Elliot Perry. See, that's all back then.
Them cats from Arkansas for Nolan Richardson, weren't they from Corey Beck and them? Weren't they from Memphis?
Corey Beck was from
all that. You had Corey Beck, Todd, you had Mayberry, and then present day, well, not present, but you had Todd Day. All that came from Memphis.
Yeah, Todd Day, yeah.
All that was from Memphis.
Memphis, yeah. Because I know Nolan Richardson loved Memphis.
Oliver Miller.
Because see, the only one that stayed back then was Elliot Perry. Because Elliot, they had that killer team. Back then, Mr. Ford, they had that killer team over there at Treadwell High School.
And now who was on that team? Who was that?
You had Mayberry and Elliot Perry.
Right. Yes. Elliot was the one who wore the airplane, the goggles, right?
He came.
Yeah, he the one who wore the long socks with the goggles.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, Elliot Perry. That's right.
Yeah. See that team. That year, I think two years in a row, Mr. Ford, they went like 36-0 2 years in a row.
Ooh.
Yeah, that team was dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that team, because you had Elliot playing point guard, then you had the other guy playing the two. And back then it was unheard of. Remember, because the one that went to Arkansas, he was 6'7" playing the two.
That was Todd Day, or was that Mayberry?
No, that was Todd Day. Mayberry was the point guard.
That's right.
That was Todd Day. Yeah,
that's right.
So
I remember him.
You had a 6'7" point guard, and then Elliot Perry wasn't no slouch. Remember, because he made it to the NBA himself.
Yeah, he was good. I remember him. Oh yeah.
So yeah, they was on the same team at Treadwell, so it wasn't nothing you can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then later on, probably like 2 years later, that's when Penny came to Treadwell and took it over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Memphis Tigers basketball is my favorite team. And like I said, I could go back to Elliot Perry and watching Elliot Perry and those guys back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You talk about a Penny, you talking about a David Vaughn, you talking about Lorenzo Wright, God rest his soul.
Yeah, Lorenzo Wright. He came to the Atlanta Hawks. I remember him.
I hate, that's my friend brother there, man. I hate talking about him, man. That was just too bad. And in the narrative that they tried to paint of him, man, that was just, and none of that was true, because I'm gonna tell you all what Lorenzo White was. He was a country boy from Oxford that went to the big city that knew how to play basketball. He was still a country boy, still a country boy, because he came from Oxford. But he was so good, imagine, a young man standing 6'8" in the 9th grade.
Right.
And by the time he graduated, his junior year, that's when they, recruited him up to Memphis to play basketball.
Right.
And, at that time, Mr. Ford, he was already 6'11" in the 11th grade.
I remember. Like I said, he came to Atlanta. He played for the Hawks.
He did. He
Yeah, he played.
did.
Well, let me
So
ask this now. Let me ask this. You're a Memphis person, and Doc, you say you like Memphis too. Now, how long is it going to take Penny to win the national championship? Well, I say this: when will he be in the Final Four? We talking about next year, this year, 3 years
this year,
from now? He'll be in the
this
Final
year,
Four this year.
Probably
Okay,
this year.
this year,
Yeah,
next
this year.
year. You got to
Yeah,
look
because see,
at that team.
this year the only bad loss that they had, Mr. Ford, was
yeah,
to Houston. But
okay,
Houston been number one, pretty much all year. But everybody else, Penny has beaten this year. Yeah, he
right.
has. Yeah,
Now
he
let me
has
ask
because
you this.
he put a
Now,
thumping on Arkansas because Arkansas had all that McDonald's games all Americans this year, and I
right.
think Penny done beat them by 18.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, what's behind? What's the root of the problem with the Weissman? Is his name Weissman or Wiseman?
James
Oh,
White.
Wiseman. Oh, he's in a good situation now. He's with the Pistons,
Oh, he's with the
and
Pistons. So
yes,
he's
sir.
not with Golden
He got
State.
traded.
He got traded.
Oh,
Man,
that's right.
yeah, he
Okay,
gone. Yeah, but
okay.
since he been in Detroit, he been averaging like 18 and 10 a night.
Oh, for real?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
All
been
right.
dominating. Cause
Uh,
cause I'm still a Bulls fan again, cause of
Yeah.
Jordan. He
Right.
gave my team 15 and 15. I'm almost throwing my drink at the screen the other night. That boy was killing so bad. But I did get the honor of seeing him when he was in high school.
Right.
He's every bit of advertised. Only person that was close to him back then, it was this young man. Wiseman was a senior, but this young man that I'm going to talk about was a junior. His name was Matthew Morrell, and
mhm.
he plays the two at Ole Miss right now.
Ooh,
Okay. What did, now, did Ole Miss fire their coach?
yep.
Oh yes, sir.
Herman Davis gone.
He done.
Herman
He
Davis
So,
done.
gone.
He gone. It's too much talent because you think about it. He got the Morrell guy, which was a McDonald's All-America. Then they got the young man that came from my high school in Jackson, from Callaway High School, the little Deshaun boy.
okay.
He was a top guard, in the nation coming out that year. And
Right.
they got him, and if you can't win with that, and then I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Ford, they got remember the guy that won 3 times SWAC Division Player of the Year, McKinnis?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
he played for Jackson State? Yeah,
Yeah.
the big
Uh-huh.
the one that him. He grad transferred up there. And if you
That's right.
can't win with that, you need to be gone.
I hated when he left Jackson. He was a dunker. I used to love
Oh,
to
he
see
was
him
a
do them
dunker.
alley oops.
Yes, sir. He was a dunker. See,
Yeah, he was
the
a
only
dunker.
thing that I hate about that, if Jackson State would have had him this year, can
Right.
you
Yeah.
imagine that when you got him and Manziel in the middle?
Right.
So, but like I said, I think we as JSU fans and as HBCU fans give Coach Mo time
Right.
because
Okay.
he's doing a lot with a bunch of, let's just be real, with a bunch of nutters, because he doesn't have any depth on that team.
Right.
That's the reason why he went with an 8-man lineup rotation today.
Right. So you got to give him a little time and just let him get a couple more. But I'm going to tell you now, I don't know what Coach TC, I'm a believer in him.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you now, if Coach TC allow that young man from Madison Central to hit the floor after football season, there go your Lindsey Hunter again. And that's that Isaiah Spencer.
What's that
I
kid's name?
don't watch Isaiah Spencer.
Oh, yes. That's
When
the
I
wide
say
receiver, right?
nasty, you remember, Mr. Ford, I know you remember when Lindsey Hunter was at Jackson State.
Listen, there's a thing out right now in USA Today. They say that Lindsey Hunter's basketball team in high school is one of the top 25 high school basketball teams in the history of high school basketball.
That's Murrah High School. Because see, you
Yeah.
got to think. My being from Jackson now, for us Jacksonians, let me just name off the people that went there. You had Steve Galloway. You had Hollywood James Robinson. Remember, went to Alabama.
Alabama. I remember him.
You had Lindsey Hunter.
Right.
You had You had Ryan Lothridge
That's
that went
right.
to Jackson State.
That's right. He went to
Then
Europe, I think, didn't he?
he did.
He went to Europe.
Several
Yeah.
years.
That's
Then
right.
you fast forward. Then you had Othello Harrington at Georgetown.
Right.
You had J.J. Pate. Remember him from Arkansas? Jesse Pate. Then you had Ronnie Henderson from LSU.
Ooh,
I remember Ronnie. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. See, all of that came from that high school.
Talking about Ronnie Henderson with the Murrah?
With the Murrah, yeah, he went to Murrah.
And then you turn around, you got damn Mo Williams that came from Murrah.
But watch this though. But this ain't the end of this. Now watch this. Would you not know that Othello, J.J. Pate, and Ronnie Henderson played on the same team?
That's nasty.
You had a 6'6" 2 guard. You had a 6'5" wingman that they used to make him play point guard, JJ, and then you had a 6'11" Othello Harrington. Man, I remember I played basketball in high school. Man, they had us by 58 at the half.
Now, what year did Othello come out of Jackson? What year did he graduate?
See, I came out in '94. Othello came out in '92. And then Ronnie Henderson came out in '93.
So now Othello played with Allen Iverson at Georgetown, right?
Yes, sir, he did.
Yeah,
yes, sir,
okay.
he did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, he did. And but remember, Othello stayed, but Allen Iverson came. He was 2 years and done.
Done. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what about Monte Ellis? He's from West.
Lanier. That's Lanier High School.
Lanier. Okay.
But see, they have a history too. I can go back with them. They had Monte Ellis. They had Tang Hamilton. They had Jerry Rice's nephew. Remember the one that broke? Remember he had broke the McDonald's scoring record that year. He had broke Georgia. That Rice boy. But then get this though, they had a guy at Georgetown was something because they had a guy that year from Lanier. His name was Jerry Nichols. And remember, they had that high power class when him and Iverson came in because Iverson was the point guard and Jerry Nichols was the two guard. But see, Jerry Nichols, he was really from the hood. And he couldn't get his grades right because I'm not gonna tell a story. You know how it was back then. It was see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil back then. Right. And they was gonna make Jerry Nichols was gonna suit up for Lanier and barely probably can read. He probably can't even read ABC 1, 2, 3. But he was gonna suit up though. Let
me ask you and Doc this question. We won't exclude Mo Williams on this question.
Okay.
In your opinion, who is the best basketball coach you saw at Jackson State? In your opinion?
Stogler?
Stogler. That's what I thought too. That's what. Who'd you say, Doc? Who'd you say?
Stogler. He was there when I was there.
Yeah. Right. Because I thought he did the most too. Because he had Lindsey Hunter, right?
Yes, sir. He had him. Remember he had him and Ryan Lothridge.
That's right.
And they had Big Miko. Remember the center from he was from Provine. Yeah, the big boy.
What was his name? What was his name?
We just call him Miko.
I
forgot his real name. But he was about a 6'8" power guy he was from Provine.
I remember
and somebody right here said Paul Covington. I remember now Covington was during the 70s, right?
Yeah, Paul Covington. Yes, sir. He coached my uncle. He coached my uncle, Larry Pop Smith.
And he
coached them in the short.
What about Eugene Short? Eugene and
yes, sir. He coached my uncle Larry Pop Smith. He coached Eugene and Purvis Short.
Purvis Short, that's right. I remember. I used to read about them in Jet magazine.
Yes, sir. And then he coached that one season that Alden Norris for all us real Jacks on. Alden Norris. He coached them that 1 year too.
Right.
You remember when Coach Stogler he had Trent Pulliam. Man, him, Silky Slim, Vincent Jones up from the Delta.
Man, you could go on and on. I mean, back then, they used to talk about him, but he had Chico Walker back then playing the point guard, 6'3". Remember Chico?
Yeah.
That transferred from Alcorn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean that was all.
I meant to ask y'all about this. Mr. Ford.
Uh-huh.
Did y'all check out? I know that you probably did. No, you was already gone. But the Alcorn game against Texas Southern,
I missed it.
You
Yeah.
called it.
Well, they were showing it. I'll say this: they were showing it on the screen when we was at the game. You know, on the little big screen. But Alcorn just let down, man. They did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Ford,
they let down.
you called that game. You said it was an upset. You said it might be an upset because of the fact that Texas Southern is tournament made.
Yeah.
Plus, with Coach Jones, Johnny Jones is tournament ready.
And that guy's
And
a
also
recruiter,
another guy
man.
we missed.
That
Now
Jones
you remember
guy's a
we
recruiter.
had what's his name had Eric Struthers back then too.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Now he's a coach somewhere now, right?
At Tougaloo, at
That's
my
right.
alma mater.
Yeah,
he's
that's
at
right.
Tougaloo.
He's at Tougaloo, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
But
right.
that guy,
Shout out to
I
him.
always remember one thing about that guy at Texas Southern, man. He can recruit his you know what off. He can recruit, man. That Johnny Jones guy, he can recruit.
Yeah. Guess what? We got Simona. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Had to put the
Hey, now,
Hey, that's
what's
Mr.
going
Bowman.
on?
Yep.
Yes.
I've been following you the last 2 days. Every day I come from school, I get on your stuff. That's how I've been watching the games. I've been on your stuff watching. I came in today.
She was about to blow a head gasket.
Yeah, she was. That boy missed that dunk. I thought she was gonna slap him. She was gonna slap him. He missed
I done
that dunk.
told y'all 1,000 times I do not watch Jackson State men's basketball. I don't watch them live. I listen to Rob J because he's gonna have an exciting voice. But
Yeah,
when you have
he
to
does.
actually watch it,
Yep.
when you have to watch it, it mess like I had to go lay down. I literally I went to bed and got back up.
It
My
was
head was hurting.
you got that bad? You got it that bad?
Yeah, I had a headache. Like,
Hey.
y'all not about to give me high blood pressure, going
I
back
know.
and forth and back and forth.
The blood pressure boys. That's what we call
Hey, well, now listen, let me ask you this. What's the schedule for men and women tomorrow? Because you not have to come home from school. What time will they start playing tomorrow?
So tomorrow they'll start at 11 o'clock. It's the women start. The first game for tomorrow is Pine Bluff versus Alabama State women.
Ooh, that's Miss Jackson. That's Miss Jackson.
The upset too. I called the upset between Pine Bluff and Alabama A&M.
That's girls, right?
It's girls.
That's Miss Jackson. Is it Frida? Miss Frida Jack? What's Miss Jackson's name?
It's
Frida.
Dawn Thornton.
No, that's the coach.
She's a graduate from Jackson State University.
Yeah, that's right. Dawn. That's Pine Bluff.
Yeah, and her husband is the defensive coordinator.
Grambling. Yeah, Cedric Thornton.
Cedric Thorne. Yeah. She graduated from my old high school. She was all state like 4 straight years at Callaway.
She's doing a good job. She
She can coach.
Yeah.
But like I was telling them yesterday, Mr. Ford, yesterday evening, I think if somebody, buy out Coach Reed, because she's a hot commodity. She is. But I think Don Thornton is gonna be next after her. She'll definitely
Jackson?
be. Yes, sir. She'll be because number one, she'll be coming home.
Right.
Because she's born and raised in Jackson and went to Jackson State too. So
right.
I think, and plus she and like you said, going back to what you were saying earlier, she has a winning pedigree.
Yeah.
Because she generally comes in and changes programs.
Right.
Because you remember a couple years back, she was the coach for Texas Southern years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
That was her.
I remember.
Y'all already discussed why they need to change over to Jackson or Baton Rouge, I'm sure. Y'all already.
No, I ain't got on them yet.
No, we
I
hadn't
ain't got
got
on
on
them
that.
yet, Mr. Mo.
No, ma'am.
Well,
Yeah,
let me just say this now, and I'm gonna defer to the brother who was at the tournament, because let me just say this before I start. I'm still kind of now, I love Dr. Charles McClellan, but I'm gonna
Yes,
say
sir.
this to y'all. I think he's neglecting basketball in the SWAC. I truly feel that he
I
is
think
not
they have a
supporting
new
men and women's basketball like he should.
they
Well,
have
I'll
I
say,
got a problem.
they have a new
with,
sponsor. Starry is a new sponsor. That's a new drink that just came out.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Mr. Mona?
They have a new sponsor for the tournament.
And
Starry.
who is it?
It's like a new Pepsi drink, I think. It's called Starry.
It's like
Did you guys watch the press conference?
Now, who was in the press conference?
The drink that I'm talking about was in the
Oh,
press.
okay. No, I missed that.
Okay, so
I missed it.
if you get
I
to
just
watch,
and
been hearing you. I come home from school and I hear you, and then like you say, I listen to Rob J and them. And yesterday I watched Jackson and Grambling's Girls, and today I came home from school. I was listening to you, and it was Jackson and Prairie View Boys.
okay, somebody said Starry replaced Sierra Mist.
Oh yeah,
So
I know Sierra. Yeah, Sierra Mist.
so
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
that's a new.
To give you my opinion, to answer your question, Mr. Ford,
Uh,
I really think he neglect. I mean, he doesn't. Only thing that I don't really generally like about Dr. McClellan is he. It's like he has his agenda,
He
but
tries to keep it in Alabama.
he doesn't know how to capitalize on what he has.
Right.
That's my biggest problem with him, because even this past year, while we still had him, although we didn't know we was going to lose him, that but anyway, that's a
yeah,
whole nother. But all them classic games, he failed with that. And
right.
then
Yeah,
trying to get a lot of games in Birmingham, he really, really, failed at that, because to me, the only thing he's doing by having those championships in Birmingham is just paying Birmingham, because that's where their office is at.
And
right.
that's what
Yeah,
I
It's
think. I
yeah,
think that's where he messes
yeah,
up at, is that he keeps
Yeah.
stuff in Birmingham. Everything is,
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
Southern, when they
yes,
tried to
ma'am.
take Southern and Jackson to Birmingham. I was so glad. I'm not saying that I wanted them to fail that, but I'm so glad that that fell through, and that the sponsors pulled out, because it didn't make sense for Baton Rouge fans and Jackson fans to have to go to Alabama.
Yeah.
right.
And the crazy part about it is that people know, you guys know just as well I know, even if they just kept that game in Jackson only, it was gonna pack out, because Southern
Yeah,
wouldn't have cared. As long as they're facing Jackson State, they don't care where it's at. If it's in Jackson or Baton Rouge or
yeah,
New Orleans, of course, years ago.
yeah. Now,
Right.
But
when I was a student at Grambling, it was in Jackson.
yes,
In
yes,
the
sir.
mid '80s, it was in Jackson. It was in
Yes,
Jackson.
sir.
And
Yeah,
that was
Yes,
the
sir.
thing, because as a student, I can remember there are certain games that they're trying to move them to certain places, but there's certain games that's a day game. And so for students who have a car, you get three other people, y'all
Roll it
each
out of there.
put in $10. That's the gas to get back and forth. If
right.
y'all only
Yeah,
have your ticket and $40, you're gonna have a good time, and then you're
yeah.
gonna be back
You're
at
right.
school. Either you're gonna spend the night, which usually you don't spend the night. That Southern game, that's a turnaround game. You can be back in Jackson, and at the time you could go to Soups or Freelines.
Yeah,
Yep.
By the
Yes,
time you
ma'am.
got
You
home, you
right
get to
about
go
that,
out.
boy. You got it. They say you got a memory just like a you got a memory on you now. Yes,
That's
sir.
the
Yes,
same with
ma'am.
Southern
Yes,
Heritage.
ma'am.
The same with Southern Heritage Clash at that Memphis game. You
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you win or lose. First of all, at that time, Lord, it seemed like we would lose that Southern Heritage Classic every year. Good Lord, it would be
Mm-hmm.
something.
I
But
remember
we
that.
still
Yeah.
would go. I remember me and my homegirl, we went. Um, our the going with the friends had fell through. We got lucky, and was right there at the roundabout when the bus took off. We went with a whole bunch of alumni.
Yeah.
Hey,
Me and
can I
And
her.
say this?
in Memphis, you could pretty much stay out all night, even if you didn't have a room. It didn't even matter.
Right. They had what, Bill Street?
It,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They do.
Well, can I say this to this is Dragon 1990. I have nothing against Birmingham. My wife's family is from Birmingham, Camden, uh, uh, Selma. I'm saying that I want the 7,000 to 8,000 people crowds. And I can't see it with those brackets the way they're doing it in Birmingham. First of all, I don't understand why you playing men's games during the day. Men's games should be at night. And I asked, Doc, I asked you this other night. I want to know who's setting up the brackets for the SWAC because they don't know what they're doing.
Well, I did see where, and he's not on, I don't think he's on the stream right now, but Dr. Cavill, there's other people outside of just, I think there was a Grambling person on Twitter and they were complaining about it. And he said, if they feel like it's such a problem, they need to be submitting a RFP when it comes up time to get the tournament to their city.
Right.
So Jackson and
Yes,
Southern
ma'am.
have to do their due diligence, and they said that my thing is like Baton Rouge, as much eyes as you have on, it's not generating any fan engagement. Can y'all just cancel next season? Because it doesn't. I guess it doesn't go for a new proposal until 2025. Well,
No, ma'am.
after
You
after
ain't
the
gonna
summer
be
of
you ain't gonna be able to get out of that
2020.
because it's already signed, sealed, and delivered to
Well,
until 25.
yeah. So
And it'd have to be, it would definitely have to be, some type of power of Congress to even get it out of there. Because, first of all, to get it away from there, those sponsors are gonna have to pay the SWAC just to, a fee just to even get out of it. And then, you have legal fees, and then you got site coordination. Then you have to have a great marketing team. I mean, it could be done, but it would cost us 3 times the amount to get that
okay.
away.
Okay.
Mhm.
But
To
we
get
would
it out of
I
Birmingham?
guarantee you
Yes, sir.
Okay.
we probably make all that back like they're saying with just the fans. Like and that's not
I
to
agree.
say
Yes, ma'am. I
everything
agree.
has to be Jackson State centered, but uh it's just people would come down from Valley. People would come shoot. Southern's
I
what?
know a, I
Southern's
know a good
what?
I know a good arena, that they can do it in. Of course, you can do Memphis, but I'm gonna tell you one that's really untapped and it's state of the art too. That's that Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum.
They tried
What
it.
city? What city is that?
It's right there in Biloxi. It's right there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
right
Yeah.
there on the
Okay.
beach. It's
Yeah.
on the beach.
Right.
hmm
How many seats
And it
is that? 7,000, 8,000? What are we talking?
no, it's like 10.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Because Mississippi, we have 3 arenas that can seat up to 10. That's the AAC, and that's the Memphis Gulf Coast, and the one the AAC at Jackson State, and the one downtown Jackson too.
I
It's all
mean, I think that the Jackson State, I don't really, if you did Jackson State campus, wouldn't you rather just have 9,000 people in there,
Yes.
10,000 at capacity,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
then to have an empty stadium
Right. That's what I'm tired of.
you're
Or you
going
could,
to
or you could take it to the
outstrip.
Mississippi. You can take it to the Mississippi Coliseum right up the street.
else.
I was about to say, because when I was at Grambling, we weren't on Jackson campus. We were at a coliseum somewhere in the city. Now, what was that? Where was
That's
that?
the Mississippi Coliseum.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like 7,000 or 8,000 in there, right?
It only
Yeah,
seats
they
50. I
extended it
think
now.
they
It's
said,
like 10.
Okay. Okay. So I know it was like
okay.
7,000, 8,000 when I was a student.
But somebody,
hmm
this is the
It,
thing. I remember we was talking about this, and they, when I said, well, we had it in Dallas, there was no issue when we had it in Dallas. Because at first, when I'm gonna tell you just like this, a couple of years we had it in Dallas. I was at my school. Somebody got an echo. We was at school and they had it at the convention center. The convention center arena seated like 7,000-8,000.
Right.
And at that
Mhm.
time when we had it there, of course, when you have it in the afternoon, morning time and afternoon time, nobody's not going to be in there except for the peak, except for the parents of the kids that's playing the game.
Mhm.
And then if the band is there, the band is there. But
Mhm.
uh, it did fairly well, especially during the tournament final because we had it pretty much packed out. Then I remember, like we was talking about this, Mr. Ford,
Uh-huh.
years ago, when they brought it to the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland. That seat
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
seats like 7,000 to 8,000, and that's a high school.
This says
Mhm.
Mississippi Coliseum. It says that the arena has 6,812 seats available for basketball and can be expanded
Yeah,
to 10,000 for concerts. So it looks like 6,812 at the Mississippi Coliseum. I think a lot of people keep on getting aesthetics mixed up, or they're saying we have top-notch facilities, but top-notch facilities is not going to do anything for you
yeah,
if there's no fans in there.
yeah.
There was 300 people at the finals for the boys' final last year.
I mean for this, like, and then we know that certain fan bases, they travel more, and certain fan bases, they're going to show up and show out for theirs. And then you have to think, if it's on campus, whether it's Southern or if it's Jackson, you're going to have students who, you know they're just going to be there. Even if it's in the daytime, they don't have class, they're going to be there.
Yeah, they're gonna be there, and then Jackson, as far as even from the social aesthetics, I mean, college kids they're gonna love it.
Right.
They're
What?
definitely gonna love it. So me, I just think that Mr. Mona, Doc, and Mr. Ford, I think they're looking at to me, they're just looking at saying that they're in a city, I guess, but I think they're going about it wrong because if they were just trying to say, okay, they're trying to appease everybody, then why not take it to New Orleans then? If they want to do that, go to New Orleans or
or
Memphis
have
or
it,
somewhere like that.
or have it at the host at the who's the number one team. But then again, because Alcorn was the number one team in the SWAC,
Right.
you wouldn't have it at David L. Whitney because of the simple fact that they only seat like 2,500.
Yeah, and it's so closed in
It's
too.
closed in.
It's so close. It's only one way in, one way out. To the, we used to go down to Alcorn a lot of times. Me and my fraternity brothers, but no, no, I couldn't. We couldn't play at the Whitney like that. Not no SWAC championship because you won't be able to hold those fans.
Right. And
Well,
so
You wouldn't be able to hold it.
let me pose this question to the panel. So, if you have one thing, panel, that you would say to Dr. McClellan about this tournament, what would you say to him? If it's just one thing, what would you say to him? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say to him. I want them brackets straightened out. Them brackets are terrible. No, tomorrow, no men's game should be during the day. All the men games should be after 7 o'clock. Now, I'm just asking y'all, what is the one thing you would say to Dr. McClellan about the tournament? Mr. Mona, you can. What was the one thing you would say to him?
Um, if you're going to invite the other teams to participate, then the first seeds get a first day bye or a
Right.
first round bye.
Okay. Excellent.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, um, definitely we're in a new age now. So social media is so important. So the same way that we have like a retool your school type of event going on, they need to get a sponsor for the SWAC tournament that has the same type of competition.
yeah,
Right.
Like whichever fan base votes the most. I don't know if it's Starry or whatever, then $10,000 is going to be awarded to their athletic department. So 10,000 for the girls, 10,000 for the boys. So whoever, the top two that win, do something like that to get the engagement up. And then of course just like um they just need to make it a big thing. So the same way that they make classics, basketball can have the same type of buzz
Right.
because
Mhm.
we're
I
on
agree.
fire on YouTube covering the SWAC tournament.
Yeah.
But the amount of buzz that we have on the internet, I mean, SWAC has been trending for like the last 2 days. So everybody's talking about the SWAC, whether it's basketball or whatnot, but we just need to match with the engagement of the fans.
What's going on, Trav?
What's good? What's good, everybody?
Hey man, I would just say me myself personally, to kind of piggyback on to add a caveat, if you will, to what Ms. Timona is saying. I think we need to work more in the SWAC. I think, and just HBCUs, period. I think we need to become a lot more engaged with community outreach. And what I mean by that is that if they had, a team of people there located in Birmingham,
Right.
to go out and scout locations and things of that nature, you should have a great legal team, to know the legalities of what you're signing on to get out, to kind of get out the old school way of thinking. Because right now and for years to come, everything is so innovative. It's not we're not in the pencil and pad, generation anymore. Everything is, technology based. So, you kind of need to ramp up the system and say, okay, well, we have this community outreach team that's saying, okay, well, since we're locked into Birmingham, then we need to be running, like Mr. Mona said, we need to be running drives. We need to be at each one of the schools, whether they make the tournament or not. We should be there and have that community fan engagement to get people to come. That's going to be, that's the biggest thing, because it has to, have some outreach there. And that's where, Dr. McClellan and his staff, I feel they kind of, fail us at, because a lot of times, if you really, really look at the scope of the games, even when some of these SWAC schools have open schedules, you know, it shouldn't be anything to try to promote everybody to say, okay, well, I know your team is not there, but we're going to be at the Bayou Classic this weekend. Everybody come on out.
Right.
And that doesn't happen. So, I just think it needs to be a lot more community engagement. It needs to be more corporate sponsorships. He tries to go after the big fish, which is nothing wrong with that. But you should be able to go after the cricket. We have the cricket. You should be able to go pretty much everywhere, to try to get some type of sponsorship, whether it's dealerships, whether, hell, if it's McDonald's, it doesn't matter. Just go out and try to get the people in there. And I think that's what he's been failing to do. um you know if I was to give Dr. McClellan a grade, I would give
Right.
him, maybe a C+.
Okay.
Doing
Right.
his senior. I won't say that he's failing. I won't
Right.
say that, but I just think it's that community engagement that he needs to get, because right now he needs to ride the wave. Because you have so many great teams in the SWAC period.
Right. Yeah.
You look at, you look at Southern Baton Rouge baseball team. You look at Jackson State baseball team. You look at,
Mhm.
it's other teams out there that has national, prowess. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
the men's and the women just won the soccer SWAC championship, but then nobody really know it but the true Jackson State fans.
Right.
It should have been,
Right.
you got to get with these FC leagues and, get out there and speak with them, maybe try to, correlate some kind of, partnership with the SWAC. And I just think that's where they kind of fail. And I'm with Miss Timona on that. Right now we got to ride the wave, because everything is, if you think about it, everything now is social media. It's at the palm of your hand. It's
Right.
at your TV screen. It's on your
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
satellite radio. Everything, is very modern now.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to take advantage of those things. But, I just think one reason why I had to give him that C plus is because he's not reaching out into those genres of, growing the SWAC. Because right now, whether people like it or not, SWAC is where it's at right now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Right. And it's not,
Yeah,
and I think that they are missing out on the same. Everybody that says, "Oh, it's the facilities." It. I'm not trying to say that uh, some of our universities, especially for Jackson State on the inside, couldn't use a facelift with the chairs and whatnot. But at the end of
sure.
the day, nobody's going to be looking at the chair when you got two bands going back and forth. You got the schools going back and forth. Three or four bands. Like, nope, nobody is going to be worried about what the seats look like.
Right.
Do you
Miss
have
Timona, when I
air
was in college in the
conditioning? Do the
'90s,
water?
Jackson
Do the
State basketball game in Alcorn, that was like the football game back then.
right? And it was
When
it was
I
like
was in
that at the
school.
game. Like I don't in the regular season that
Hmm.
Alcorn versus Jackson State game uh at both places. It was crazy. So
Yes,
looking
it
at
was.
that, it's people have to get out of this. Oh, the facilities, the facilities, the facilities. Nobody's going to be looking at what chair you're sitting in. They're going to be. It's the atmosphere, and once again, it's the culture. Yes, facilities are nice, but if you're not bringing anybody with it, it's for naught. So
So what do you
bring it back. Bring it back to Jackson
To
and
piggyback off that, I would say
uh
the facilities and weight rooms, that's more for recruiting purposes, in a
so what
sense.
would you
Like,
say to the commissioner, Trav, like about the
um,
tournament and everything as far as with the tournament?
man, I'm 25, so I'm more of the social media platform based. And like Mr. Walker was saying, I think that cars have been parked in places for so long that I don't think it's a matter of them not being able to be like, hey, let's use social media. I don't think that they want to, and then it's possibly maybe an issue of they don't know how to. Like for example, I mentioned to someone about Telegram chat the other day, and someone responded me
Mm,
back with an
mm.
email, and I'm like, bro, email is so 2000 AOL.com. Like, come on, like. So I think it's more of an issue. Maybe he doesn't know, and then they've done the same thing for so long and so long that I don't think they even realize it sometimes. Like that they're not trying to transform and get better.
What grade would you give him?
Uh, I would say A for effort, but probably C for just result overall. I mean, I
Mister.
think he does try,
Yeah,
but
I'll give him.
I don't know who is in his marketing department, but looking at your target market and looking at they need to hire somebody from an outside firm who can literally or even in this next football season basically doing some type of like data collection where you figure out at some of these games how many is a commuter, how many lives like in that area. So for instance, the Southern versus Jackson State game, you want to know how many people are less than 2 hours away, how many people travel less than 3 hours away, and you want to know what your target market is. So for Jackson State games, how many of you guys live less than 2 hours away? How many of you guys are live in Jackson less than 30 minutes away? Because
Hmm.
then you're going to know at each one of those games uh okay, this set of people come to these games and this set of people comes to that game. That way you'll know how to capitalize off of it. So for instance, if you know that the Southern versus Jackson State game, most of the fans, like at least 30,000 of them, only live 2 hours away, then you know that if you're ever going to do a classic, that it has to be a classic that's only in Jackson or Southern, because that's how you're going to maximize your results. If most of the people are telling you on a large scale that you need to move it from Birmingham, then you need to listen to the people,
Okay.
not
I
to
agree.
sponsors, not to, oh, we'll let you have this arena
Right.
without any expenses. Like, no, you need to pay for the expenses, or you need to get a sponsor that will pay for the expenses, and you need to bring it back to Jackson. And if you need to get it to where the tickets that are sold at the tournament, they're going to break it down X, Y, and Z, and they're just going to reimburse Jackson State for using the facility, then go ahead and do that. Or if it's going to be at Southern, then go ahead and do that. But stop trying to. I don't like that he does everything in Alabama. That's what I just don't like it.
And what
Yeah.
grade do you
Well,
give him, Mr. Mona? What grade?
Um, for sponsor placement, I give him an A. For fan engagement, I give him an F,
Okay.
because there's literally nobody in those uh, arenas except for, you might get some fans if they have a game coming up afterwards. They might be there for the earlier game, but for the most part, it's very much like whoever the team that's playing, that's the fans that's going to be in there.
so that's a 2.0. So you giving him a C overall?
No, I oh, are you talking about A and an F?
Uh huh. Yeah,
Um,
that's a C with both those. Because that's what 4.0 and 0.0.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty.
that'll be a C overall.
but here's the thing too. I've always, I'm gonna say this. Um, having it in Jackson, because like I said, you having it in the central location. Only reason why it's in Birmingham because the SWAC office is there. Now I can say this:
Hmm.
each time we had a basketball tournament that's in a certain host city, is because that host city had the office of the SWAC in there. So remember, when they was in Houston, they had the tournament in Houston at the
Right.
Toyota. They
I
couldn't
remember that. Yeah.
get out. That was too big right there. But the SWAC office was in Houston at the time. They moved it to Dallas. That's the reason why the SWAC tournament was at the Curtis Caldwell Center in Dallas for a while. Even when it was at the Dallas Convention Center, the office was in Dallas. So now the office is in Birmingham. Just look at it like this. Uh, just look at it like this. The first SWAC football championship game was in Birmingham at Legion Field.
Right.
I would not go to that stadium because first of all, it's straight in the middle of the hood, and then second of all, um it is right rotten. It's rotten to the point where you might have to condemn that stadium. Um, having the SWAC tournament in Birmingham at the Bartow Arena, I mean, that's crazy because the fact that you saying you're not paying you don't have to pay UAB a lot, but still, I'm not want to use somebody else's, another school's venue.
Right,
Just,
you putting money in somebody else's
I,
venue to use
yeah,
it. That don't even make sense. And I don't understand why people keep on saying that's where the SWAC office is. SWAC office's obligation is to the conference as a whole. So you do what's in the best interest of the conference, not because you're letting us have the SWAC office here. Let's make sure we put some money into your economy. You need to be trying to put the money towards the schools. So I maybe, and you know what? Maybe the commissioner and whomever is on his panel, maybe they look at it differently. Maybe they have a different take for why they are choosing to have the tournament in Birmingham. Maybe when it was time for the RFP to be done, maybe Jackson and Southern or no other schools, or not Jackson, the city of Jackson or the city of Baton Rouge, maybe they didn't step up because they didn't, they might not have felt like they were going to make any money. Maybe that's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
because they're looking at where it's at and how it's not making any money. Maybe it's
I
going to
think
be a hard sell.
Hey, Doc, what's his grade?
His grade right now, if for just having the tournament in Birmingham,
Uh-huh.
I give it a C minus. And the reason why I give it a C minus is because your starting times should be uh not at 11. It should be
Right.
like 3.
Thank you.
Now,
Amen.
second thing I say is the women's tournament should not be at the same venue as the men's tournament. I
Oh, you
think
don't like that?
no,
Why?
because I would rather for the women's tournament just to be somewhere else. Now, if you're gonna have it in Birmingham, I would have it somewhere closer to
But
where
Doc, do we have that kind of money? Do
hey,
we have that kind of money to
well,
have the women and the men separate?
well,
I'm
they
just asking, do we have that kind of money?
I don't know if we got that kind of money, but they look like they stunning around there too. But
Because I'm
but
gonna be honest with you, I like it when it's men and women. I
okay,
just like it when the brackets are fixed right, because I think the brackets are trash. I think the brackets of the SWAC tournament are horrible.
right.
But I do like the fact that we have men and women.
I would if I'm gonna go and look at a model, I
Uh-huh.
at the MEAC model. Even though they only got 8 teams when it comes to basketball, I go look at their model of how they do their tournament. They do their seeding with their tournament and everything. Um, I wouldn't. Hold on.
Yeah, I want to touch on the she was saying about why is it not in Jackson. I could pretty much just I'm not sure where everyone else lives exactly currently, but living in Jackson currently and pretty much my whole life, I could tell you one of the problem would be Tay Reeves. Tay Reeves refuses to have anything to whatever he can control. He refuses to have anything in Mississippi that would benefit uh people that look like us where we from, as well as Jackson State. He refuses to do anything that would provide resources or any advancement to us. Now those other two schools up 55, he'll move heaven and earth. So I think that's the issue with that. And we've
Let the
actually
church
seen
say
that.
amen.
Yeah, I think we've actually seen that multiple times this year. Like Tay Reeves will
Mm,
move a damn building by himself on his back to keep Jack State from benefiting on anything. He don't care what it is.
mm,
And you're right, son, nephew, because the crazy part to me is that's right there in the heart of the capital city of Mississippi. And it's so centralized because everything is just a highway straight shot away coming into Jackson. You have to go through Jackson just to get to Birmingham. You have to go through
Right.
Jackson just to get to Houston and Dallas
Yeah,
and and all these other places. It,
that's
it
right.
it makes it makes no sense. It makes no sense. But we're in the day and times that everything is still red, if you get what I'm saying by that.
Right.
And they don't want to see any progression because they don't want us being smart enough to ask and to uphold checks and balances, because see, you have to go through that as well, the checks and balances. But that's a whole nother grand scale. But I just think that there needs to be some type of partition, coming up in 2025, where we all as a collective, we need to be prepared for it.
Do
And Mr. Mona, I think that's something, and Doc and Mr. Ford,
Right.
myself, Doc Campbell, Aunt Campbell, that's something that maybe in the years to come that maybe we all need to have a collective to really look into it so we can maximize us not, making those stumbles and bumbles again. Because it seems to me everyone on this panel and even in the chats, they're not satisfied with what's going on, in the SWAC. And I think right now, while the light is still shining bright on the SWAC,
Right.
it's time for us to take advantage of it. So I
Well,
agree with you, young
let me.
man. I definitely do.
I just want to pose my final question before I get in this bed. And my question is based on an article I read in the Clarion Ledger. It was the new interim president at Jackson State. And basically, she stated that she was 100% behind the athletic program at Jackson. She thought the world of Ashley Robinson and that she wanted to see Jackson State athletic program win in every sport. Now, my question, and this is my final question to the panel. We have 12 presidents in the SWAC.
Yes, sir.
Do you see that body as a plus or a negative?
My answer is it's a yeah and a nay, but because you got probably, let's say, 10 out of 12 presidents is going to support athletics. You probably only got 2 that really don't care. One of them at FAMU, and the
Right.
other is at Bethune-Cookman because he ain't president. But to me, if I'm the presidents or chancellors of said institutions, I have to talk to Dr. McClellan and say, hey, you cannot go out there and try to make decisions on the benefit of the conference without letting us know what's up. Because remember, like you said, you work for us. You work for us. Like, so if we are all in agreement to having coming up with certain deals, you know what I'm saying, like when it comes to TV rights and stuff like that, TV deals and stuff, then but you go out and say, well, you can't do this and that and the third, but you got schools that's doing um like I want to say side deals, but Grambling is did a side deal with Urban Edge Network, and but you're intimidating the other schools by saying that you can't do that, then
And that's let's just go ahead and say allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
yeah. But that what I'm saying is you can't do that. Like the you cannot be the authoritarian figure knowing that you have a council of presidents and chancellors that you still gotta answer to.
Well, for one, I think that it needs to be everybody needs to be all on the same page.
Right.
And at the end of the day, presidents entering into contracts with people, or excuse me, with companies, there needs to be some transparency. And the reason for that is if stuff goes left, SWAC still could be named as a defendant in your litigation. So you can't just go and enter into certain contracts with all these people and not have some type of transparency in it without, and so for me, I think that they really need to look towards HBCU Go.
Yeah.
I think that HBCU Go would probably even put up whatever money it is to get that uh, tournament in Jackson. Because I think we're saying that there could be an issue with maybe the city of Jackson getting those funds and stuff like that because of Tate Reeves. I'm pretty sure HBCU Go would front that money.
Well, Mr. Mona, are the presidents a plus or a negative?
Um, I think that there's an overall consensus that everybody wants for HBCUs to flourish. It's just a lot of presidents know that the majority of their dollars comes from research and grants.
So they're
So
negative.
It's not a negative. It's just
Okay.
letting them. It's just you have to present it to those types of presidents who who know that where we get our money from is research. You
Mm-hmm.
have to let them lay it out for them as to why fan engagement in sports is so important, which is it's a recruiting mechanism. It's not it's something that you invest in because it's good recruitment. If you have a viable uh, publicly known sports program, you're going to get highly touted recruits, which will in turn that'll increase uh enrollment. It'll increase the amount of eyes. You have the band that people would be interested in getting into. You have your majorettes or J sets. That's another group of people. You have cheerleaders. So it's not just the sports team itself, it's everything that is revolving around that. And then, some students, they might see trainers, athletic trainers, or they might see students that are helping. So basically, the sports is a way of promoting your school and having a strong fan base and that culture being shown surrounding sports, it's good morale for the school overall. But you have to let the president see that and show them the numbers for it to back it up and say, if we invest XYZ, and then I think you'll get them on board. You would have to actually show and prove to them because otherwise it's going to be like, we're fighting to keep our doors open. And in order to keep our doors open, we need to be submitting proposals for uh, grants and research. Forget a proposal to host a game that doesn't have any fans going to it. We need to be trying to keep these doors open. So for us, I think that having all these presidents, I don't think it's negative or positive. I think you have to just address it the correct type of way. You have to basically sell it to them.
I agree. Just the way like Alabama does the University of Alabama does the blueprint. I mean, you think about it. I mean, what are they known for?
Football.
They're known for football, and think about everything else has basically fed off of that. I mean, look at their basketball team now.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say just now. These last years, even when they had Avery Johnson, that's how they ended up getting Avery Johnson to come there.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
don't
so
forget C.M. Newton and Whip Sanderson now.
uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't
So I
forget them.
mean, but it still arrived around, the University of Alabama, the LSUs of the
Yeah.
world and all that stuff. You know, their driving force is athletics. Let's just be real. Sometimes you gotta be real and just be honest. That's what it is. But in HBCU world, I mean, now that we have a capitalization on athletics because people are tuning in now. You having people basically, as we used to say, getting up off the couch and repping their schools now. You
Mm-hmm.
have that because everybody now is like, oh, my team is better than yours. Your team ain't So now that we have that camaraderie, like Miss Tamona said, we need to capitalize off of it now. And that can be like, a multi-million-dollar driving force, to get things done, and to get the correct location, to get the correct, like you were saying, Mr. Ford, the correct brackets, and
Right.
you can hire PR teams to do certain things, and you have the actuaries, and all these people, all these collectives, if you will, to come in because it'll pay for itself.
And
It
that's
will
another
pay for
question that I
itself.
had. Like, Mr. Campbell is talking about we don't actually know what the dollar amount that we're getting from HBCU Go. There's no paper trail. And we also don't really know with Urban Edge Network, we don't know uh I mean, on my show he said that, or excuse me and Doc's show the other day, he said that $2.5 million was going to Grambling roughly. Then when he got on another show, he said that it's 3.5 million ballpark figure for all of the schools that are involved. And it's like Grambling, Stillman, and any other channel on there, they're all streaming the same stuff, the same type of content. So why wouldn't they all be getting 2.5 million apiece? I don't know. It's just kind of confusing to me. So my next question is for the SWAC office, why can't y'all do your own uh media rights? Like when I say that, I mean like what is the issue with forming your own? You already have the sponsors.
So
So
you want a SWAC network.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like what's the purpose of you contracting it out to these people for pennies? Because when Hardy Pelt was on there revealing what it was, he said that the schools get 35% of what the media budget is. So if they give him $200 million, we're only gonna get 70 million. Why? Why? When forget both of them, you guys can form your own network, get hire the media production that whoever does Mississippi Valley, I can find it on here. They're local to Mississippi. So basically, if they're local to Mississippi, then you need to be responsible for streaming Alcorn, Jackson State, and Valley games. And then the same for, you find a reputable production company in Louisiana, a reputable one in Alabama, and you get the streaming up to par. And you guys do your own thing, meaning you SWAC office needs to create a I guess a committee, or they need to create a whole nother section where it's nothing but making your own sports network. There's no reason that I'm letting somebody only give me 35% of the supposed $200 million when we can do that ourselves. And we already have the numbers for certain things. You already know how much people are viewing or how many impressions people are getting. So why? And somebody keeps on saying packing the stands and gyms. Packing the stands and gyms has nothing to do with impressions at all. Has absolutely nothing to do with impressions or media rights. Like you guys keep on talking about packing the stands, but we're talking about people looking and viewing the what they view online. So while packing the stands may look nice, you'll be actually surprised how many white conferences have empty stands and they still have a big media rights deal because it doesn't have anything to do with what the stands look like. And you'll notice that when they actually film it, you won't see the stands. They'll make sure not to include the stands in the stuff. They'll make sure not to include it.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this, and then we'll probably have to talk about this another day. But when it comes down to it, we can start our own network, but you got to be able to actually have somebody to put it out there. That's the reason why most people go to ESPN, because in fact ESPN is pretty much monopolizing on everything college football, college basketball. Just just being real and being honest about it. Um, um, just kind of go with it. Like when University of Texas has the Longhorn Network, right?
Right,
A
right,
lot of people did the Big 12. All those schools did not like the fact that they had their own network. That you get what I'm saying? They had their own network. They felt it wasn't fair. They felt that Texas is getting money on the side because of the network. The only thing about the network is they couldn't show conference games, like conference football games and stuff like that. They had to show non-conference games. They had to show replays. They had to show all the content that goes on at the University of Texas. Even though they got like 300, I think it was a $400 million deal off of that. Guess what? You ain't gonna be able to have that when you get to the SEC.
right.
The SEC said, no, you gonna come to our conference and you could be a part of the SEC network, but you got to give up that Longhorn network.
Valley production is top tier, bar none, top tier.
And FAMU, don't forget FAMU.
Oh yeah,
FAMU's production is awesome.
And the crazy part about it, they only have their students doing it.
Right.
Isn't that something? That's
FAMU is first
remarkable.
class.
At Valley, they actually have a production company that comes in. The students are the ones that's doing like the as far as commentary, but they actually have a production company that is doing the production because I
But
found
that's
it
very
one
remarkable
day.
that they allowing, that
They
they bringing that
invested.
in and then allowing the students to do the commentary. That's training them for jobs in the future.
They already trying to steal them already. They done got a lot of exposure and they even got to commentate on a different type of game. The Valley students, they were able to go comment on another game. They've been getting a lot of exposure, but you see how they're looking, right? So if people are looking and now they want to take them, which that's good that they're getting those opportunities to go elsewhere, but just being able, I think his name is Caleb Brunson and Andre Williams.
Yeah.
They were able to go to not just Valley, they went to a different game to be a commentator. So my point is that their production company, that's somebody who for Jackson State most definitely needs to think about investing in them and getting them to do their filming for the basketball games. Absolutely. They
I
have replay, they have everything. It's top tier.
I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna get up out of here. Russell, you're a MEAC guy. Y'all been under hostage. Y'all was under hostage with Dennis Thomas for almost 20 years.
Oh yes, they were. He was
And
terrible.
I think he was the most incompetent.
Yes, he was. And corrupt.
He was corrupt, and he had Dr. Harvey, who was the president of Hampton,
Yeah.
under his thumb.
He was a lackey for Dr. Harvey. He was Dr. Harvey's lackey.
So for better or worse, hey, we can talk bad about the MEAC. We could pull receipts about the MEAC. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when it comes to just the network, neither of the conferences have their own network. So let's just get that out the way. If don't sit here and shit on the SWAC talking about we don't have a network, we can't get along, but you have a dying conference,
right?
Two non-football playing schools.
Ooh.
Is pretty much trying to keep y'all selves alive. When it comes to football, you only got 6 schools, and you're gonna merge with the Big South to try to keep y'all damn conference alive and see who can actually get a automatic bid to said FCS playoffs. Because remember, the winner of the MEAC goes straight to the Celebration Bowl. But in a sense, none of us had none of our conferences have their own network. We don't have none of that stuff right there. I'm kind of upset that we don't have it, that a small conference like the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference can be on even though yes they're showing reruns and whatever they want to do, but they're on HBCU League Pass Plus, and we ain't got shit to show for it.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
When it comes to being on the network, ESPN is our daddy.
Yep. And I want the commenters to really think about something. Would you rather watch anything involving the SWAC, and I'm gonna say the MEAC as well, right? Would you rather watch it on ESPN or would you rather watch it on your own network? And let me ask you this: if it was on your own network, do you think the numbers would diminish or would they go up even more? What do you think?
I
We
agree with you.
we gonna leave on that, y'all. We gonna leave on that. Thank everybody for coming in late. I'm gonna get off. It's gonna be a whole hour show. Shoot, I ain't know we're gonna go another 2 hours up on this thing. Right now, Alabama A&M is up by 10, 61-51. So they kind of made it a game. Southern kind of made it a game. You got 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the
Oh,
second half. Norfolk State has defeated Coppin State by a big amount.
we knew that.
So I'm afraid that Juan Dixon might be out of a job.
Yeah.
I don't like trying to fire nobody. That ain't my job. I don't want to do nothing like that. That ain't how I roll. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how I roll. But you were ineffective as far as having your team the way it's supposed to be. Plus, you had some off the court issues that is still in litigation
Right.
right now. Yeah, you might not make it, my brother. But more than likely, I mean, he's Juan Dixon. He'll get another job anywhere
Yeah.
in the state of
Oh,
Maryland.
yeah.
True. And if the coach for Maryland ever leaves out, the next person by far will be Juan Dixon to go to the University of Maryland to be the Terps' next coach.
Yeah.
But other than that, first game on the list on the docket for the SWAC is at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. It is at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. That is the women's game. That is, I think that's not Jackson State, but Pine Bluff versus Alabama State. Second game on the docket will be the Texas Southern versus the winner of this game tonight, and Alabama A&M and Southern. The 5:30 game would be Jackson State versus. Ooh, I forgot who we playing. Who we playing? Who playing tomorrow on the women's side? Tomorrow.
The team that's gonna lose. No.
Oh, we playing Southern. Oh, we playing Suck You. All right. So we playing Southern tomorrow. That's a 5:30 tip off, and then the nightcap is Grambling versus Jackson State men at 8:30, and hopefully, tomorrow you'll be streaming both games, or would you stream the women's game only?
What you mean both games?
Well, both teams play tomorrow.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
When the men play
They
again?
play at 8:30. Yes,
Huh?
the men play at 8:30 tomorrow.
The semifinals. This is semifinals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, they don't
Yes.
get a day rest.
No.
The champions has to be crowned Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
It used to be.
Mhm.
It used to be crowned.
They need to fix that now.
It used to be crowned on Sundays.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the
And
day,
it
they did.
should be on Sundays. What's up with
But
that?
they got that show. You know, that show has to go around the country. You know, it's a show about 6 o'clock. What do you call that? When they tell who's in the tournament?
Right.
Well, you have the NCAA. You have that the selection show.
That's it. Yeah. They got it. That goes on at 6 o'clock Sunday.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's conference that would actually.
Yeah, they had a selection show. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, you guys. I thank y'all for having me on the panel. I've been following your advice, Mr. Ford. I've been getting back into my reading right now. What I'm reading, finishing up reading tonight is "Life Doesn't Frighten Us" by Maya Angelou.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's a good one, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a good one, man. Yeah, it's a good one,
Anything
man.
by her is good.
Yeah. See,
Anything.
of course, everybody talk about why the cage birds sing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Why Life Doesn't Frighten Me, that was one that she had did later on.
Yeah.
And it's good too.
You know, she was from SWAC territory now. She was from Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
she
know
was
that.
from Arkansas. Now she talks about when she was growing up in Arkansas, every time Joe Louis would win a fight, the white men would try to find a black man to lynch. That's how mad they were about Joe Louis.
But that brown bomber was something else,
That
though.
brown bomber, baby.
He was
He
something else.
said, you can run, but you can't hide.
That's it. Because
That brown bomber.
him and Sugar Ray Robinson
Yeah,
and
probably the greatest of all time was Sugar Ray Robinson. That's who Ali
man.
copied.
Yes, Lord, man. You can go on YouTube now and I hated, and I really hated Mr. Ford that they got rid of. It was one of my very favorite TV shows, and I'm sure y'all watched it. You remember that ESPN Classics when they used to show all that stuff?
Yeah.
That was my favorite
Oh, I
channel
loved
back
it
in
too.
the day.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch the old school. I used to watch them old school home run derbies with
Oh,
Hammer
yeah.
and Hank.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, but like I said, I appreciate y'all having me on the panel, man. It felt great to be with you guys. But of course, I will be on court side again tomorrow. So and Timona, if I'll be looking for you because every time you and Doc, it gives me a notification that y'all gonna do something. So
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't know that the men was playing, so it must be tonight because Jackson State women are at 5:30.
Yeah, they play and
Yes,
they
So
ma'am.
and then
tonight.
you said Jackson State's right after it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Because see, they have to crown a championship, by Saturday. Because they have to be back. Because you have to, according to NCAA rules, you have to be back on campus during the selection time.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a rule. Yeah, that's a rule. You know how
I
they
didn't
be.
know that.
You ain't never noticed how they had a watch party.
Yeah,
Unless
I
you're
seen
like
a watch
big,
party, but I didn't know they
Yeah.
had to.
See, but haven't you noticed that they always be on the campus
yeah,
when they
Oh,
doing it? Yeah, you have to be on your campus to be selected too. Yeah.
unless you are playing your championship game on that Sunday, which would be the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, and I think the American is the same.
Right.
That's right.
And at that
Yeah.
point you can watch it from your hotel.
In the Big
Right.
East,
That's right.
the Big
ooh,
East.
that's a lot of time. I'm gonna be definitely ramping up asking for donations because that's like what? That's almost 5 hours, 6 hours streaming. 5 hours.
Well, if you could do the women, I could actually do the men if you want to do it like that.
Okay, that sounds good.
I could do it
I
Either
like
way, it's fine. I'm gonna be there, man, because
I definitely
we ain't trying to go nowhere and just trust in Mo. Just trust. I think he got another one to pull out his hat. I
So
believe it.
you, man, do you know? So you think there's a chance that Mo could pull it out the whole tournament? I mean, now that
I'm gonna tell
When
you.
Alcorn got knocked off, I was like, woo.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm like Mr. Ford on this one. Now, please hear me on this one.
that.
In SWAC, at any given time, anything can happen.
Yes.
Anything can
That's
happen.
the greatness of a tournament.
Mm-hmm. But what I will say this, from what I gathered today at that game, whomever faces JSU women these next two games, man, it might not be today. It might not be beneficial for them to suit up against them girls because they are. When I say they mad.
That's the kind of game I want to show because today,
Them girls there are mad. You hear me? I'm talking about like mad. This ain't no, you just talking. Matter of fact, they got into it because who was that? Was that PB Girls? And they were sitting, I think that's who that was. And they were sitting. Which one does Don coach for? Don Thornton.
Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
Pine
So they
Bluff.
was people. Yeah, PV girls are kind of rolling their eyes, and them Jack State girls like, "What's up? We'll see you." So I'm telling you, I think they done what the young people say. They done poked the bear.
Yeah, they don't.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. That women's team for JSU, you don't want to poke that bear. You don't want to poke that bear because Coach Reed had them. They was because I'm staying at the Sheraton, and they're there as well. And them girls was up. They was up running this morning down the street. Matter of fact, they woke me up. Mm-hmm. All you heard was little tennis shoes clanking. Doop, doop, doop. I said, Lord.
Yo,
I said, well.
with them. Like,
I said,
y'all had it too
man.
close for comfort. Y'all know better. Because if you think about it, if y'all are getting ready to compete at the big stage, all of those turnovers, that other team is going to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Can't be making them mistakes.
That Mr. Ford, you'll like this matchup for the MEAC men tomorrow. So at 5:00 tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Shore is taking on Howard. Howard's the number 1 seed.
Howard gets that.
7:00 after that, the 7:00 game is Norfolk State versus North Carolina Central. The top 4.
Ooh, that's gonna be classic. That's gonna be classic.
I'm still sticking. I might have to stick with Howard versus Norfolk State.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That'll be Howard against Norfolk State.
I've been watching.
I'm going with Norfolk on that one.
Me too, man.
I like that guard they got from Norfolk.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about, and I like that coach too, Jones.
Yeah,
but I like that guy. Doc, what's the coach's name at Central? That guy's good, man.
Bill Moulton.
Yeah, that guy's good, man. He overachieves a lot of years. He overachieves.
But that Kenny Blake.
Yeah, that boy's good too. Yeah. He's a Duke graduate. He played for Mike Krzyzewski.
Matter of fact, we was at the game talking about, man, what if they had that boy, that guard from from Prairie View and the guard from Norfolk State in the same backcourt.
Ooh.
Would be nasty.
Ooh, because that guy, I like that guy at Norfolk State. I like him.
Oh yeah, that point guard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like him,
the man.
Yeah,
he's the man. He should get, and in all fairness, both of those two young men should get a shot.
Yeah.
If people really know how to recruit and find great players, I think that young guy both of those young men should get a shot. I believe so.
They call him ISO Joe.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. I think I really think off of this year's Jackson State women's team, I really think that Daphne White should get a shot. I really do.
Is that the center?
That girl is tough. Yeah. The big center. She's
tough. She is tough. She's Southern Cal transfer.
That's the other one. That's Angel. Okay. Daphne. Daphne was the Mississippi High School player of the year. Remember, she went to Mississippi State for 3 years.
Yeah, I remember her. Mm-hmm. I remember, yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember, but back she couldn't get no PT because you remember they had the other big girl. Man. Remember they had that. Remember they had big. They call her Big T, but Cow.
Yeah, I remember.
You that was about 6'7", 6'8". You know
that guy. He left and went to Texas or Texas A&M. Where did that coach go?
University of Texas.
That guy had a killer at Mississippi State, man.
And he was so crazy for leaving that because he had a Lamborghini, man. He had a Lamborghini at that school.
Damn.
Because you remember now, before he left, they had gone to back-to-back national championship games.
Because they beat UConn one year, didn't they? Didn't they put UConn
out? Beat UConn. Because, the year before that, remember, they were young, and Victoria Vivian was young. Her and the little point guard, the Morgan Williams girl. And remember, they made it to the Sweet 16, remember? And UConn had beat them by like 90. And then they came back that following year and they beat UConn in the Final Four.
Right. Now remember the little girl they had? She was from, was it Birmingham or somewhere? She was really tough.
Morgan Williams. That's her name,
right.
Morgan
Williams. She was tough, man.
Yeah, she's from she played at it was in Birmingham. What's that school over there? It's over there off of it's right off the highway. Black school. Oh God. I can't think of the name of it.
Parker or Oman, none of them was it. Wasn't Parker, was it?
No, sir. That don't sound like it. It started with an H, I want to say.
Huffman.
I don't know. I thought it started with an H. You have to probably look. That's probably one you got to look it up. But
Look up, yeah.
but Mr. Ford is right. She's from Birmingham.
Yeah, she was tough. She was tough.
Super tough.
Yeah.
You know, because remember, that was her only D1 scholarship was to Mississippi State because they was talking about her height.
Right.
But the girl, she was tough as nails, though.
Yes, she was. Oh yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, we definitely gonna be in the house. We definitely gonna be in the house and tomorrow, and we'll definitely see what's going on. I mean,
listen, and when you get a chance, you pull Dr. McClellan to the side and tell him what we said.
I tried to play. I tried to play the fraternity card today.
Yeah.
But he had so many people around him today.
Okay.
Yeah, he had so many people around him, man. Because I was sitting right beside my chapter brother, Lim Barnett Jr.
Oh yeah.
Lim Barnett Jr. He actually plays at Jackson State. The son did too.
Right. Now,
so yeah, I was sitting.
Where's he?
Lim Barnett Jr. He's in Michigan.
No, I'm talking about Lim Barnett Sr.
He is back in Michigan too. You know, they all migrated back up that way. Because
he's still in Detroit. He's still in Detroit.
Yes, sir. He does the on air for the local line, not the XM, but the local channel of the lines.
Right. Okay. See, I grew up,
and the son actually works in the front office.
I grew up with him and Charlie Neal doing BET football, black college football.
Man, that's the voice. Boy, that's the voice of a lifetime. Boy, you went back with that Charlie Neal.
And
I was raised off of Charlie Neal.
Yeah, that was it for us too.
I was raised off of Charlie Neal. That was back when he was on BET back then. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. Boy, you went back then, Mr. Ford. You're right. Boy, you went back with that one. Sure did. I remember that.
Man, I can hear Lim Barnett saying "Diamonds in the sky."
That's it. That's all right.
Nukes everywhere. That was him. Nukes everywhere.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. That was him.
Man, yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
Yes, sir. But no, we had a good time, today, and but what I will say in Coach Mo's defense, though, that team they may not be as talented and deep as the other teams in the tournament, but one thing that I can see that Coach Mo Williams is doing, he's teaching them young men resiliency and not to give up, because they don't fight, they don't stop now. Yeah. They don't now. Like I said, as far as the talent level, Jackson State is really, men's team is kind of, they can only like Doc said earlier, they can only probably go about 8-9 deep, maybe. But as far as resiliency, man, those guys are resilient, man. They play with their heart on their sleeve.
Yeah, man.
And you gotta thank Coach Mo for that, and because he's been there. He's been on that, on the grand stage. He's gone to multiple NBA finals and all that old type of stuff. So I really think they're gonna be all right. But like I said, whoever line up tomorrow against them girls, I'm gonna pray for you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you.
Run it up.
I'm gonna pray for you, cause like I said, and I understand, because Dawn, she, her and Tamika, Coach Reed and Coach Store, I'm sorry, they know one another, and they were talking, but them girls, they snarling, they foaming at the mouth like little pit bulls, like bring it, especially the little short one, the little bit. The one with the Covington, John Covington. Yes, Lord, that's a little firecracker there. She was all right. I bought them all some popcorn and stuff, so they just made me laugh all day today. But they sweet young girls. But I know what I had to share with you guys. Did y'all know that the little deaf girl on let me share this with you guys. They have the Mississippi High School Deaf Player of the Year, that young lady. Uh-huh. Do you know that all the basketball girls took classes last summer to learn how to do sign language just for her?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. All of them did. They took both of them. The whole team took one first session and second session to learn how to speak sign language so they can, communicate with her. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool, man. That was a good thing, man. I just found that out today, and I
Ain't
was
she a
telling
gold
them.
medalist?
Oh yeah.
She's a gold medal Olympic.
Yeah, that girl got a gold medal. She was the Mississippi Deaf Player of the Year. She went overseas. Matter of fact, that girl's a 2-time gold medalist.
Oh yeah.
Olympic.
Yeah, she won one in 16 and 17. Matter of fact, this last time she was the MVP, they were saying. Yeah. So like I said, but now I just wanted to share that with you guys because that was a real touching story that they had shared with me. And I was like, man, that was so sweet of them to do that.
That's a good story.
So we're gonna pay some bills tomorrow, and we're gonna run it tomorrow. So we can I got to be up at work in the morning, and then I got to take the missus to the airport so she can get back to get to California to go check on our daughter, make sure that she okay. She's been in the hospital for like last couple of days, so she get prepared for that. And also, like I said before I was gonna go off, and then Mr. Ford jump on.
Well, we talk all night, man.
Got a new position. Got a new position within our company, so she would.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
A traveling audiologist. So she's doing with veterans. So
y'all deserve that, Doc, man. God gives to those who believe.
Yeah.
But
y'all definitely deserve that, man.
Yeah. So man, we just congratulations. Congrats to the wife, and then we just needs prayers for our daughter. Make sure she get out of her situation at the in the hospital. So, like I said, she'll be in LA this weekend. She back at her hometown in South Central LA.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be here working and working and working some more, y'all.
Man, don't work, you don't eat. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Hey, but as always, man, I thank y'all for coming on. T, I will holler at you on Twitter tomorrow.
I'll be streaming. I know I'll be streaming the ladies' game. So.
Okay, you stream the ladies, and then
everybody tune in. I'm going right.
So we'll be doing that tomorrow. I'm not going to Cali. She's going back to Cali for right now for a couple of days. So I'm gonna be here in Dallas.
Somebody said Southern was eliminated from the tournament.
Oh,
so Southern is out of there. So A&M is taking on Texas Southern. Don't sleep on Texas Southern, y'all.
Yeah,
just letting you know. Yeah. My boy Craig Hall was up in here. He'll be talking so much to us. But other than that, man, I thank y'all again. This has been another HBCU OverDrive live stream for HBCUs Matter. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Become a member of the hottest HBCU podcast that's out there right now, and hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. Until then, as always, everybody be blessed.
Stay dangerous. I know you're going to say it. Go ahead and say it. Stay dangerous. Good night.
Good night. Everybody be blessed, stay safe, and most of all, stay dangerous. Till tomorrow night, 8:30, streaming the Jackson State men's semifinal game against Grambling. Make sure you come in, tune in to that. All right, peace. Bye.